Yeah. OnChain Revolution, you're not bullish enough. OnChain Revolution, you're not bullish enough. Every day we steady looking at the market, and we gon' tell you how to get started. Chain abstraction, fear and greed index, always looking at price action. Roll call in advance, you don't even gotta mention. I swap it in the decks, you're not bullish enough. Traded in the segs, you ain't trenching enough. We do that market recap. Too much Bitcoin, gotta go to rehab. Shizzy and Yagobi. OnChain Revolution, network in the art. Every day we go live, baby, you know where we are. We mention all the networks and the crypto. Need some more liquidity. Flipping and trading is the recipe. Too many protocols to count. I get high and I'm never coming down. Number go up, then I'ma say peace. Yeah, you thought that I was gonna leave. Yeah, we just getting started, man. OnChain Revolution. Every day. Bring the beat back. Eyes everywhere, gotta be careful with volatile meme coins. You can get some bread if you round trip it, then you gon' regret. All this information in my head. BYOR, touch grass instead. Nobody really knows how it's gonna end up today. Somebody gotta tell you what's happening today. I don't let the money change me no way. OnChain Revolution, here to stay. Yeah, say I'm Sage, man. Voodoo 2 on the way. Yeah, Nicky's. Yeah, OnChain Revolution. OnChain. Hey, OnChain Revolution. Bitcoin not an illusion. Market recaps and I do a roll call. You're not bullish in the vocal. Look at the price action, trend. Yeah, send it to the deck. Sell it through the stack. Order knows the best. Too much Bitcoin, gotta go to read. If you end up bearish, gotta put the knee pad. Let me see the comments. Look at the fear and greed index. Bridge. Look at the chart.
Welcome back to OnChain Revolution. My name is Shizzy. On this channel, we cover the entire Bitcoin crypto ecosystem. What is up, guys? We are at almost just about at 109, 108, 854. What a time to be in crypto. What a time to be in Bitcoin. What a time to be in the Bitcoin ecosystem. DOGE getting listed on Kraken officially. Like, this is going to be an insane next couple months. It's usually saying selling May and go away. Right now, it's buy in May and stay, baby. This summer is going to be explosive, but there's going to be a lot of opportunities in the market. And that is why you need OnChain Revolution. That is why you need us, guys, because we're going to be giving you so much news and so much alpha every single day that you're not going to want to miss an episode. And what we have today, we have some amazing news happening right now. Oh, my God. 108, almost 109. Come on. We're about to break all-time high, guys. It's going to happen today. I can't concentrate on anything else. Let's bring up Yagobi. I'm sure he's feeling the same exact thing. Mr. Yagobi, what's up, buddy?
What's up?
Bro, 109. 109.
Yeah, I think we passed it. Was it 109.20 or was it 109.200?
Yeah. New all-time high live on the show.
There it is, guys. I was trying to break my head last night trying to figure out what the title should be, and I just had a feeling, I had a gut intuition that we were going to, at least get close to that all-time high, and it looks like we have accomplished that. So let's see if we can push further up. That would be great.
Yeah. So the new all-time high is 109, 105, $70 from the previous all-time high. So today is May 21st, and we have a Bitcoin all-time high of 109, 105. Absolutely amazing, guys. Congratulations if you've been here all this time. But this is just the beginning, right? This is just the beginning because Bitcoin's running. But what about our alts, right? What about our other coins? When do you see this start maybe going into other things? We do see Bitcoin dominance kind of running again today, back up to 64. But when do you see potential alt season?
I see alt season really kicking off whenever we hopefully get to, he says we didn't hit an all-time high, but I think we just saw that the comment came in. But if we didn't, we're about to. So I do think that we need to be in that risk on environment. What could happen is, let's say we get to like that 115, 120, 115 to 125 here in the next week, right?
Yeah.
And then Bitcoin cools off. We're obviously going to see some alts run pretty hard because profits typically flow into the alt markets, right? But
Yeah.
I still don't think we're going to get the trigger until for retail to kind of come in until we're in a more risk on environment. That's just kind of my perspective. And yeah, we'll see. We'll see. He's saying the all-time high was 109,358, but we actually did a game show yesterday.
Yeah.
And that was one of the questions. But I don't know if it was $109.20 or $109.200 because it could have been 200.
So I'm seeing the all-time high on January 20th at 109 like 35. So I don't know. I mean, does it really matter if we're like a couple bucks off, honestly? But yeah, it depends what exchange you are, Fortnite. It definitely depends what exchange you're looking at. I'm looking at Coinbase, and Coinbase is saying new all-time high. So
yeah.
All right. Yeah, so basically, as you said, all-time high this week, all-time high today. So
all-time high. I would like for us to get a couple thousand over all-time high. I think that would feel much better than just kind of tagging it here. But we'll see. Look, it's definitely still looking strong, and it's passed back over 109 again. Typically, what we'll see is when we hit something like this, we'll see a run, unless it's kind of like how we were back in, I would say like the summer of 2024, where we kind of tagged that, that 60. What was it? That 60 or 70, $74,000 mark once or twice. So, but yeah, this is exciting. What a great way to start the show, right?
Yeah, man, right at 11 o'clock, right at showtime. But let's keep it going here. So last night reclaimed 108 for the first time since January. Records highest daily close. So we have our highest daily close ever yesterday, and so that was pretty big. US M2 money supply nears all-time high at $22 trillion. So this is a chart that I seen, and it's something that we've been following here. Is that money supply? So, but it's the US now that is completely taking charge of what is happening with the money supply. Let me show you this chart here. But look, this is US, man. This is since January. We've been just upward momentum. We had a little bit of a sell-off here, and then this was the Trump tariff thing, and then we just started dumping money back into the into the ecosystem. So, but like, I don't know what Jerome Powell's doing. He's saying they're in quantitative tightening, but it looks like more and more money is available according to the M2.
And we know what Bitcoin is typically done with the M2 money supplies is tail it, right? So it looks like we were able to get to, again, like 109,300 just now. And it looks like there's going to be a little bit of a pullback. We'll see if this momentum will continue. But look, we're back to all-time highs, and we'll see how long this continues. But it's pretty exciting stuff, especially with some people doubting the M2 money supply and kind of that bullish energy that we've seen the past 3 weeks, saying, hey, this is just another fake out that they always do. Well, today's proving that it wasn't another fake out, right? We at least got to the all-time high amount there again.
I mean, look at this. This is the M2 money supply, 81 days, and it's just been pretty perfect. I mean, look even where we're at now. I mean, over the last, 4 weeks, right? We've just been following it to a T. Like, it would be different if it was like sideways here and then we're at up. Like, I could say maybe, but if this keeps following, bro, we're gonna be, July 25th, right? We're gonna be at a new all-time high of 180. So, I mean, July 25th is what, 60 days away? Like, it's right there. Like,
yeah. But hey, this is something we've expected. We've talked about it, right?
Yeah.
And we got an OG in here saying Neomeister, man. Haven't heard that name in a while. Welcome back. He says, Shizzy, stop being a bear. You are not bullish enough. Yeah, it's perfect comment there.
100%, man. 100%. I got to be more bullish. 110. Well, let's go to 250. Screw it. Let's go 250 tomorrow. I'm down.
Why not?
All right, but this is some good news here. So according to Crypto Quant analysts, Bitcoin's rebound without overheated funding rates or surging buying volume signals a healthier, more sustainable bull run. They never really said this, right? So we're basically in a bull run where it's sustainable. Like normally it's these blow off tops, right? We're hitting 20,000 from 1,000, right? Or we're hitting 60,000 from 3,000, right? So we've never really had these bull runs where it's sustainable all the way through, which basically means to me we haven't even started the blow off top.
Well, it's a change of business a little bit too, right? With the institutions coming in and really getting aggressive here, and that's where I think the sustainability will come in, more specifically with Bitcoin, possibly some of these other blue chips that have a lot of foundation, right?
Yeah.
But we know Bitcoin's formidable, right? In terms of not being able to get broken down, in terms of the chain, and the coin itself is really, really strong. So with these institutions coming in, bull run's gonna probably look a little different. I do, stocks still have their kind of blow off the top, season. So we'll still have that, I think. And then of course, like the halving every 4 years that's a supply and demand thing. So I think we'll see some sort of excitement around that as well. That kind of trickles over to the price action. But yeah, we might start to see, little more, sustainability, stable, more stable market than what we're used to.
So take a look at this, right? This is the first time in history, or at least the last couple of years, that Bitcoin, the price is going up while volume is going down. So back in like April of 2024, we saw Bitcoin's price going up, but volume was going up faster. Same thing over here. Back in October of 2025, we seen price go up, volume flying up. This is the first time here where we're seeing volume actually go down while Bitcoin is going up. Does this indicate anything to you?
I mean, are they talking about like dollar amount volume or transactional volume?
Well, transactional volume.
Okay, yeah, it makes this exactly what I just stated. The institutions, they're the ones coming in buying large amounts, or huge whales coming in buying large amounts of Bitcoin, right? So that's what that tells me. So it is different, man. That's a big difference, and it looks like we're at 109,500, guys. Okay, like now we can't have any argument from Fortnite funny clips.
Yeah, Fortnite, what up now, bud?
We have made an all-time high, for sure there.
Yeah, what's up, bud? What's up, man? What's going on? Yeah, see your number? We passed it. All right, so shush. What's up, super fan? What's up, Glasshopper, Rick G? Shout out to you guys, man. It's been a good day. It's a good day today, guys. It's a good day to be in crypto for sure.
Yep.
All right. So let's get to the next thing here. More Americans now own gold. I'm sorry, own Bitcoin than gold for the first time ever. Let me show the chart here. So this is a hit right here. So 37 million Americans own gold. 50 million Americans own Bitcoin. Why do you think that is? Why do you think more Americans
accessibility?
Accessibility.
You have to remember, like, think about like when you were in your 20s, right? How many people did you know around your same age group that own stocks or traded stocks and stuff? Not many, right?
Nobody.
Me too.
Yeah.
I grew up in Dallas, right? And so I think as I got to my 30s, there was a little bit more. I think it's more about accessibility, education, and being able to buy into certain products, right? And so crypto, it's already shown it's the easiest way to kind of take control of your own success, right, in terms of asset ownership. And I think that's why. Now anybody can go get gold bars, but who wants to carry a bunch of gold bars, right? So dangerous. Bitcoin is just easily accessible, and I think that's why. And I think it's going to continually. It's going to, like, for it to be higher now, it's going to dominate it in the next couple years to 5 years.
Yeah, 100%, man. All right, moving along here. The Senate will vote today at 11:30, which is about 20 minutes, to motion to proceed debate on Genius Act. So I'm not really sure. So the Senate basically, they approved it the other day, right? So what is this motion to proceed debate? Like, I'm just a little confused on what this is, but apparently it's 20 minutes they're voting on it again.
This sounds to me like the anti-crypto army trying to put together some sort of stoppage of the act to go through, right? So I don't think they're going to be able to do much, but we'll see. We'll see what the vote comes up to be. It's going to be interesting because I think people are going to be paying attention to who votes yes to kind of halt this.
Yeah, for sure. And if you go, I mean, you got to remember the crypto donors were one of the biggest donors to the campaign, right? Over the last in November. So yeah, they need to figure something out because yeah, we'll see what the senators do here. But I can't imagine being one that is on the wrong side of this because they could lose funding, especially from crypto, companies.
Yeah.
But moving along here, Texas House advances strategic Bitcoin reserve bill on second reading, moving it to one step closer to becoming law. So now it's going to Governor Abbott. I think that is his name. It's going to Governor Abbott's desk, right? What do you think Governor Abbott does? He's always kind of been a Bitcoin guy, right? For the most part.
And he's been trying to make a lot of big statements recently, right? He signed into law that Texas is going to be banning capital gains tax, even though we don't have that here. So it's kind of like it's more of a preventative measure. I assume that's what he's going for there. But it sounds great, right? So I think he will most likely try to push this through. And if it gets to him, because he wants to be on the positive side of these type of announcements.
Yeah, 100%. So we'll see what happens. That'll be later today as well. Man, a lot of stuff happening for sure, especially in the governments. But moving on, some SEC stuff. So SEC delays decision on 21 shares, Core XRP Trust, Grayscale XRP Trust, Grayscale Doge Trust, seeking public feedback on the proposal. So this is the first time they're actually seeking public feedback. But so we saw yesterday that they delayed Solana. And today they are delaying the XRP, Doge, and everything else. Canary came out and took their amendment, put an amendment in their ETF that got delayed yesterday. So they have actually amended it. I guess the SEC came to them and said, "Hey, you changed this." But again, I think this is kind of leading to what we both kind of said. Where it's going to be, they're not going to want to pick a winner here when it comes to altcoins. They've already picked Bitcoin, they've already picked Ethereum as the winners because they are trading on the stock exchange as ETFs. But are you still feeling that we're going to get a September, October ETF? Or, probably like 9 to 15 blitz. Yeah.
I would think so. It would be weird. Maybe there's some sort of other type of plan here to try to keep the ETFs to a select few. I don't think that would be the case, but I do think they should be selective, right? Maybe not just a few, but like maybe not like 20 or right off the bat. So 5, 7 of like the best performing, most formidable type of digital assets should probably get approved. But I don't know what's going on in the mind of the SEC right now, right? They've changed their approach drastically from how they used to handle these type of situations, right? So it's going to be interesting to see if this is kind of hey, let's hold them back. So there's kind of like this pent-up demand release in Q4, or if there's more of like Bitcoin is more important and Ethereum has established itself and Solana has a lot of backing. So those are good. And the other ones, you really need to pitch yourself on why you deserve an ETF, right? So it's going to be interesting because I think we're going to learn a lot more as these amendments go through, because if they keep denying them, then there's something more behind the curtain.
Well, they're not getting denied. They're just getting delayed, right? So that's a big thing there. And it's like, so it's not XRP that's going to SEC and saying what ETF. It's actually these other companies, right? These companies who want to be the trust, they want to be the brokers of this, right? So it really depends on I guess what's in there. And we did see the same thing happen with the SEC back when the Bitcoin, right? So it started like June of 2023, but we didn't see them actually get approved until January of 2024. So it was like 6 months of delay. Very similar to what we're kind of seeing right now with these altcoins. I just think the way they want the paperwork to be perfect, and they don't want to pick a winner. They don't want to put Doge in because the paperwork's good and not XRP. They don't want to pick XRP in and then not put Cardano in. So I guess think they just want to make sure they have all their ducks in a row before they push like 7 or 8. But dude, think of that week when you have 7 potential ETFs going live, 7 different crypto maybe 14 actual ETFs, right? But seven assets getting pushed through. That'd be insane.
So I remember last cycle, there would be people saying, "Oh, just wait until mainstream adoption comes whenever institutions end up buying our bags." I would hear that, from time to time, and that could be kind of a setup for the ones that have at least the ETF, right? And so ETF make price go up, typically. Ethereum was a little weird because the price did get to $4,000, but then pulled back pretty drastically. But so did a lot of alts, right? So I think if we're in this like risk on environment with like a release of this, it could just be bananas, right? Like you're gonna have like the institutions buying up stuff. You're gonna have retail trying to learn, because at that point I think that draws retail in because numbers go up everywhere. And then you have your degens just like literally trying to moon micro caps and new launches and stuff to get these retail people interested. And so it could be a really crazy good, but then eventually you know where that kind of leads to a pretty hard crash. We'll see if that happens though.
But retail doesn't want to buy Bitcoin. We see that, right?
Yeah.
Retail wants to buy XRP. They want to buy Cardano. They want to buy Ondo. Cheap. They want to buy cheap stuff that they have an opportunity to 3x, right? For retail doesn't want to come in and make 30% on their Bitcoin. They don't that's not interesting to them. They can just leave it in the 401k for all that, right? But they want to come in and take money out of their 401k and put it in the crypto. That's kind of what we've seen over the past. But yeah, Bitcoin now has an all-time high of 109,485 is the all-time high. So pretty cool. Pretty cool day. All right, so the SEC is getting involved in something now. So the SEC charges NYC-based Unicoin and 3 top executives with fraud for allegedly raising $110 million from over 5,000 investors through misleading claims. Unicoin, linked to Unicorn Hunters, which is a Netflix show, claimed its crypto was backed by $3 billion in assets. The SEC says the real value was far less, calling it a major fraud targeting everyday investors. Unicoin registered under the limited SEC exemption in early 2022 during Gary Gensler's tenure as chair. The SEC now alleges that they misled investors, selling unregistered securities in a $110 million fraud. So this was a company that was in good favor with Gary Gensler. It was one of those companies that he was like, they register as security. This is a security-based asset. So it does look like Gary was being either helping these guys with fraud, or he wasn't. Maybe he was being misled. I don't know. But what do you think about the SEC? This is the SEC's first big charge against a crypto company since Paul Atkins has taken over.
This is stuff that needs to happen. This is the stuff they should be going after, not actual builders that have a good, genuine want to innovate, right? And so it's not surprising that they were able to kind of sneak under the radar by following the rules that no one knew how to do, but apparently they did somehow, right? And it reminds me a little bit of, remember, was it Prometheum? Was it Prometheum? Whatever, like it was like, yeah, we're a new exchange, we're following the rules. Like that was obviously such a like setup, dude. It's like that whole thing was like a play. And so I would love to see them go after other bad actors like this that possibly were acting like they weren't bad actors because they were a part of the whole cahoots.
Yeah, no, 100%. And this is lovely. And this was one of the companies that were in cahoots with Prometheum and that whole situation where Gary was saying, there is some, and they were coming in as securities. But then, one now, there was a couple other ones that got through as well, but we'll see. But moving along here, JPMorgan and Ondo Finance have officially successfully settled their first tokenized U.S. Treasury trade on the Ondo chain testnet. The trade involving tokenized short-term Treasury assets. Pretty nuts. JPMorgan, who he hates Bitcoin, Jamie Dimon, but he always said that he thinks blockchain is amazing technology. But you're saying they do have JPM coin. It's a stable coin. That's probably now with Stablecoin Act going through, you're probably going to see that actually evolve into something. But now they're tokenizing assets on Ondo's chain, but it's just testnet.
Yeah, but we knew that Ondo was going to be built for this type of institutional activity, which is going to have a huge TVL at the end of the day. So this is just kind of the beginnings of what we're going to see. A lot of these recognizable financial institutions, brands, and stuff start to work with Ondo. I'm curious is how big their TVL will be, right? Because now we're talking about the true like RWA chain is probably going to be dominating that industry from the get-go, right? Because they have a lot of ammo in terms of like network and who they're bringing on. So I wonder, do you think this kind of kind of stalls competition though, because they're going to get a lot of the attention from these huge institutions that already do this.
Yeah, 100%. I don't know if it's messed up competition at all, because it seems like what they're doing here is they're tokenizing treasuries to potentially back the JPMorgan coin, right? So if you tokenize a treasury, which means it's fast-paced trading, which allows you to get redemptions easy if you need to in a jam, right? So actually, this is actually smart for the JPMorgan coin, their stable coin, because now it allows them to potentially show the SEC or whoever's going to be regulating these stable coins now, that hey, like we can easily get the people their money very quickly in open markets that with treasuries, because we actually tokenize our treasuries for fast-paced trading.
So it kind of sets the standard too, right, across the board. So that's a good thing that we've talked about. Like a lot of people are like, oh, I don't want the institutions come in because then, you know, regulation, they'll want more and more control. One of the problems we've had in our space is kind of the wild, wild west, right? But, you know, if JPMorgan comes in and kind of sets the standard here, then, you know, some other institutions that might be smaller that, you know, say, hey, we just do what JPMorgan does. We back it, you know, as kind of like this way to show that it's a way to be collateralized, if you will, right? Kind of like Tether does with their stablecoin, right? So yeah, this could be a really good thing, and it could be contagious and kind of start setting new standards in our space.
Yeah, I'm excited for this, even if it is JPMorgan, right? Because it's legitimizing tokenized assets, and that's just big for us, what we're doing here. So moving along here, Bloomberg terminal outage disrupts global markets, delaying UK debt auction and leaving traders without live pricing. So this is another reason why to come on chain, because when you have oracles like Chainlink, oracles like there's many other oracles, right, that are all kind of tracking the same thing. Let's just say Chainlink goes down. There's two other oracles that are right there that you can get the live pricing from. This stuff doesn't happen in crypto, especially on chain. If Binance went down, we're not struggling to figure out the prices, right? So it's another big reason why to bring stuff on chain.
Yeah, and we'll see how fast this adoption happens with digitizing everything, right? Because there's nothing worse than not jumping on the train of like tech innovation in the industry that you're in, right? You're like holding on to like the way, doing old things, doing things the old way is what I'm trying to say. And so I think it's going to negatively affect the companies and brands that do that, right? So I expect a lot of people to kind of jump on board with the new way of doing things, because they don't want to be left behind.
Think about this though. If Bloomberg controlled the pricing, how easy it was for them to make
manipulate
something go up a penny. Yeah, manipulate it.
Man, like we can talk about that all day, right? Because we don't know, right? We don't know the proof. We don't have the evidence, right? The one thing that we do know is that we did see in live time a Citadel and the whole Robinhood and GameStop thing happen, right? And so it's harder for them to do that here, right? And there's all types of chain sleuths too that will call you out really quick. And so that's the thing, is that they aren't able to kind of hide things as much as before, and so that's a good thing for society.
Dude, if GameStop was on chain back then, it might have been a $700
Oh yeah, I mean, it would probably kept going. Yeah, for sure.
Hong Kong, so it's funny. We just had stablecoin legislation in the U.S., right? Just get passed. They're fighting it still, but it did get passed the other day. Now Hong Kong passed a stablecoin bill to launch licensing regime for fiat-backed stablecoin issuers, aiming to boost innovation while tightening investor protections. So Hong Kong's like, all right, hold my beer, U.S. We're getting involved now too. So that's pretty big. Now, isn't it weird though? We don't see like a Chinese stablecoin. We don't see a Chinese euro. Like I don't see it on chain. I don't see it in TVL. But do you think we start seeing that now potentially on chain?
I don't think so, because everybody is so used to the standard US dollar, right? So it's like, that's why it's just, every stable coin represents that $1, right? And so, even these stable coins that will go through Chinese companies, they're going to equal $1. And so I think that standard's kind of set, right? It's almost kind of like a measurement now at this point. And I think that has more to do with like where we were in society and in time. And you know what I mean? Like the US kind of dominated, and the US dollar was the world reserve currency. And so with where we are and everything being digitized, it's just so much more global. Before, the world reserve currency was global, but it wasn't like instantaneous global, right? Like
Yeah.
we were still doing electronic payments with debit and all this stuff and Swift and all these things. But like if you go back to the previous world reserve currency in the pound, they weren't doing that then. And before that was the Dutch. I forgot what it's called, the Dutch dollars. I forgot what it was. But anyways, obviously before that it wasn't doing it either. So now this US dollar is almost like a unit of measurement right now, like that.
Yeah, 100%. So you're not expecting to go on chain on Uniswap or something and seeing ETH HKY Hong Kong yen? No, in a stable pool or a pool?
Maybe.
Yeah.
You know, just because they want to be competitive for their currency, and it would be more the country trying to push that,
Yeah.
right? Because they want their currency to be strong and represented in that way,
I
right?
mean, I would
So
buy some
yeah,
ETH,
so
put some yen.
we could see that.
Yeah.
It would be like a crypto version of the Forex, right? To where you
Yeah.
know, like you're just trading it in the digital asset industry now.
Well, think
So
about making yield on that. Think about just having a USD, HKY stable pool, right? Let's just say you just want to hold stable coins. I mean, you're going to see that on chain eventually. So,
yeah.
so right now, if you're Germany, do you hate yourself? So Germany sold 49,858 Bitcoin at a price of $57,900 in July of 2024, netting $2.89 billion. Today, that stash would be worth over 5.3 billion, meaning they missed out on 2.4 billion in profit. Instead of using OTC desks, Germany dumped BTC on exchanges, adding sell pressure, one of the biggest missed gains in the government asset history. Timing is everything in crypto. So what do you think is going through the leaders in Germany right now? You eventually got to buy back double, because every country's going to owe Bitcoin, but now they have to buy back double price to get the same amount.
Well, I'm sure this is going to be a lot of, argument points, politically, right? They're going to say, hey, the previous administration that was in control, and they obviously needed to be able to, they needed to liquidate it for some reason, right?
Yeah. Well,
So that's not good either, right? So they're obviously going to have to play catch up if they're going to join the game. And if you don't join the game, you're going to get so far behind that, so they're just going to have to pay for it at this point.
Yeah, imagine if it's like 149 and they're buying back. Just imagine the joke of a country they are. Like the fact that they went and did it. Like I wouldn't care if they did this OTC, but the fact they did it on Coinbase, right? Of all places, they're dumping it. They didn't call it Coinbase. Coinbase probably would have been like, all right, we'll buy it off you. No, they went into the market and probably lost money doing that as well, because you can probably get a lot more OTC. Because Coinbase at the time was probably buying for BlackRock anyway, so they probably would have done the deal. But yeah, I don't know. Germany is looking like a laughing stock, in my opinion, right now. So
yeah, they always say you get Bitcoin at the price you deserve, right? So
yeah, 100%. They deserve it 150 apparently. So Microsoft's integration of space and time into the Fabric platform provides developers with real-time verifiable blockchain data from Bitcoin, Ethereum, and SUI. Think about that for a second. Bitcoin, Ethereum, and SUI. While not branded as an Oracle, Microsoft's collaboration with Space and Time introduces Oracle-like capabilities into its enterprise analyst platform, enhancing its utility for chains. So that was my main question when I saw this. I asked ChatGPT, I said, so Microsoft's building an Oracle? And they said, not necessarily, but it does. This new system of theirs does have Oracle capabilities. What do you think about Microsoft getting into the blockchain game and SUI there and not Solana?
I think it's smart. It's going to make them stay relevant. That's going to be the biggest thing that people should probably be watching for in the tech sector, is which of these big brands decides not to integrate, right? And stubborn and says, I don't believe in blockchain, I don't believe in crypto, and decides to avoid it, because I think they're going to, feel it in the future, right? So this is a smart play, in my opinion, by Microsoft. Makes them stay relevant, and also they could develop some big products out of this. And the way blockchain brands work is they're obviously very tech friendly, right? So I think they would welcome Microsoft, probably not the Bitcoin side necessarily, or that type of mindset of a person, but the newer, the faster tech and stuff like that.
Yeah, 100%. So I just have two questions about this for you. So again, it says Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Sui. Why do you think Sui's there, not Solana, not Cardano, not XRP? Why do you think Sui is there? What is Microsoft's integrating Sui?
Because Sui's the upside play, right? They haven't been in the spotlight in terms of activity on chain as much as last cycle. I mentioned this I think yesterday in yesterday's show. Last cycle was Ethereum for like the DeFi, right? That kind of got pushed. Now Solana took that spot, and someone kind of needs to take Solana's spot of being like this kind of budding flower that looks to be the next one up. And it seems to be Sui. I mean, we're hearing a lot of builders talk about Sui, and Sui's strategically, their builders are strategically trying to attach it to the Bitcoin ecosystem, to other thriving ecosystems. And so they have a real good opportunity to be in that spotlight in Q4 this year. And I wonder what that's going to look like, because I don't know a ton of people that have a lot of activity on Sui, but I just know a lot of people are talking about it right now.
Yeah, 100%. I watched a video yesterday with Raul Pao, and he said that 70% of his net worth, I mean, he's a billionaire, is in Sui. Right, obviously he's someone who invested in Ethereum, he invested in Solana, and he's taken a lot of that out and put it in Sui. Sui is being looked at right now as something to really keep your eye on, and the fact that it was built in Facebook's labs. Imagine me in Facebook, and this was a stable coin chain for them. They were building Libra. Remember, it was supposed to be their stable coin running on crypto rails. Those rails were the Move programming language, and which eventually created Sui. So this could be Facebook's chain right now. And right now, how crappy must it be to be Facebook and know that you had potentially, it could be the #1 blockchain on usage terms one day.
They should be met at one man and one man only, and his initials are GG, right? And that's what held back a lot of these tech companies. It was weird. It's like they were like hesitating. They would dip a toe in and then like bring it back out, because like the SEC would slam the hammer on somebody, and so I don't really blame them necessarily. I blame the regulators, right? Because they were the ones that stopped them from continuing, and it does suck, because Sui could be huge, and a lot of that success and wealth could be distributed to Facebook, but I don't know, maybe there's still some sort of agreement they have in terms of equity and all that stuff. I don't know, but it would suck if they just completely were shelved from it all.
Well, Sui has had nothing to do with Facebook in sense, right? The Move language, which was SVM remastered, basically, right? That was created in the Facebook lab by the guys from Aptos, the creator of Aptos, the creator of Sui. So they basically, it was never. They never did anything with the Move language. Facebook did, right? They built it, but then said, "Hey guys, we're gonna get."
So they could have had the original ultimate kind of Move chain, is what you're saying.
Exactly.
And instead they had to pivot their focus, and I do think they were just everywhere, anyways. They were very all in with VR. And that's still not really perfected to the point where it's everybody's using it, right? And so, it's unfortunate that they weren't able to develop there, because that could have been their big winner.
Yeah, 100%. And now the Move language is now open source, but at the time it wasn't open sourced. They convinced Facebook to open source it, so that's why they were able to go build Aptos and Sui. So, all right, let's kind of get into the crypto fear and greed, bro. I am so bullish at the fact that this number is low. So last week was a 74. Yesterday was a 68. My hint to you is we're in the high 60s, but we're higher than yesterday.
Wait, hold on,
bro.
69.
I gave you a layup. I always mess you up. So I felt like
when you said in the high 60s, I was like, did he say 68? Because that's the high 60s.
But dude, think about this for a second. We're at 69, and Bitcoin is at $109,000. Just think about that for a second. We're not even in greed right now, and Bitcoin's at an all-time high. What happens in the next couple months?
Oh man, I feel like greed is really associated with when some of these other, like, you really see the greed meter go right whenever you start to see the degen start to play, right? Because now we're talking about memes popping off left and right, hitting $50-100 million market caps on Solana. Abstract's going to be a big one this kind of alt market cycle, and then now we have Sui that we're talking about. So I think once we start to play in that realm is whenever we'll start to see 80, 90. What the heck? Like, okay, now, but a lot of opportunities to be had, but you got to be quick to kind of make sure you benefit from those, right? Because there will be I guarantee, as always, there will be a lot of round tripping. So just make sure you're not one of those people.
I just picture, I think it's like a State Farm commercial. It's that old guy and the fisherman get up and he has a stick, the dollar on the stick, and he's like, "You got to be faster than that."
That's how it is, dude.
All right. Let's get into the Bitcoin price action brought to you by Artura.finance. Artura, we had them on the show yesterday, guys. They are gearing up for mainnet. We had somebody in the comments yesterday came in and said, "Artura, I feel like it's been over a year with these guys." Yes, but if you want a successful project, right, you don't want no flaws. You get to launch during two big things. You have to launch when you're ready, and you have to launch during market number go up, right? Because if you launch in a dead part of the ecosystem, yes, you'll have more time to prepare, but you won't get that momentum that you have during a bull market. And that's what Artura is kind of planning for. Guys, this is a very strategic team. This is a very strategic launch, and they're going to be launching on Hemi, which is backed by Binance. Artura doesn't have a token right now. Hemi doesn't have a token right now. So to me, I'm guessing that potentially by using Artura on Hemi, I'm going to be able to get 2 airdrops, double the airdrop, double the fun. But they will also be launching on Botanix. Botanix has not launched their mainnet yet. They are still in testnet, but the rumor has it they're going to be launching very soon within the next couple months. So that is exciting as well, because Botanix is looked at as the spider chain. It is looked at as one of the highest Bitcoin L2s, probably behind Merlin, of course. But it is definitely seen as going to be a top player in the Bitcoin L2 game. So by using Artura on Botanix, there's probably going to be some type of incentive for Botanix. The rumor has it they're not having a token, but that's just a rumor as well. So potentially there's going to be some type of incentive program, because that's how you do it in parts of the market that doesn't have a lot of users yet. So you want to incentivize people to use the chain. So really excited for Artura, really excited for Hemi, and really excited for Botanix. So check out Artura.finance.
Yeah, I'm very, very excited for what that team's going to be bringing. And stick with us, guys, because there's going to be a lot of new projects, especially associated with the Bitcoin ecosystem. But obviously, we're going to cover the broader crypto ecosystem as well. But there's going to be a lot of new stuff that's coming through and just popping off left and right. But very, very excited for what they have. But before we get into the Bitcoin price action, guys, help us out like you always do. And we're thankful for that. On the YouTube side, smash that like for us. Subscribe to the channel. Turn your notifications on so you know when we go live. On the X side, make sure you hit that like and share the space. We want to educate, onboard as many people to the crypto and Bitcoin ecosystem as possible. Same thing goes for Abstract, guys. Appreciate all your help there, but let's get into some price action, and we will start with the hour chart per usual. All right, let's take a look. Seeing a little bit of a pullback here, which completely normal. We did hit that all-time high of 109,500. I think that we smashed through that here in the next couple of days, though. There's a lot of forecasts calling for 115 to 130, really, by Friday, by the way. And so if that is true on the high end, we got about like 22,000 to go. I don't know about that, but I do think we can smash through possibly the 115. We'll see. All right, so let's take a look here. Obviously, the indicators are going to look really bullish, and that's what we're seeing on the hour chart. You see the stochastics getting to almost that oversold territory here. We're at that 77, so we still got a little bit to go. Is it going to turn around before even reaching there? I don't think so. I think this was just a little, this is a normal pullback kind of sell down, and I think we continue on here for the next 2 to 4 hours. The MACD has a second hour candle here, so the blue leading indicator line looks pretty vertical to me, so I think we look pretty good here, right? If you look at the support and resistance, let me kind of squeeze this in here. I want to go a little bit more local, so we're going from data starting from midnight Central Time. So you can see right here, this resistance is going to be stronger here, right? Because this is that kind of sell down, that pull back from kind of this blow off the top that we just had. But this is normal. Like I said, I think that whatever happens here with the sellback, I think we end up getting more support here and then kind of winning that battle and getting back up. But hey, maybe we do have a more drastic pullback. This is just what I'm seeing and from my perspective, right? We do have a little bit more balance of the support versus resistance in these other higher levels here, going all the way to 1094. So yeah, I think, you know, a little bit of choppiness with kind of picking back up with the uptrend. That's what I'm seeing here. Let's see, on the 4-hour chart, it's going to look really good. You can see the indicators just look really, really good. We have arrived in oversold territory, but we're only at 85, right? We haven't even really gotten to that 100 mark yet, but it is the 4-hour. So the 4-hour does take some pretty aggressive pushing to get us there, but I think that could happen, right? And the MACD looks really good here too. And if I'm right on the 1-hour chart, then the 4-hour chart will continue to be aggressive on the upside as well. And we might, you know, kind of play out Thursday and Friday like what the forecast says. Not necessarily the 130, but maybe 110 to 115 is something that's doable in my opinion. Going to the weekly looks great. We are back in the green here. On the weekly chart, you can see the bands, they're starting to open up a little bit, meaning that this is getting aggressive, right? Which it's been pretty aggressive this entire time, but it is the weekly chart. So, you know, it takes a bit longer for this to open up, right? So that big move has been made, and it was a quick one too. You can see here, right? It tightened pretty much right here. But again, each candle's a week, so that's what it makes sense, right? To only have a short tightening period. Typically, when we're looking at the hour chart or 4-hour chart, the tightening period lasts for a while, and then there's a huge move. But it just means that it's coming, and so that happened here. And now we're going to see how wide this opens here. So, dude, looking really good.
Bull flags look. Those bull flags look so good. Like the previous two, like it's just like, oh man.
Yeah, they didn't even do like your typical like, you know, a little bit down. But on the weekly, it's different, right? If it's a bullish top, you're not going to see the typical kind of, you know, up and then a couple kind of down candles and then up again. That's a typical kind of bull flag pattern. But when it's the weekly and we're in an aggressive period, you're just going to see kind of something that might have been red and then turn green, right? Just like today, because yesterday this was a red candle, right? So
I'm talking about the sideways though. Look at the sideways in the last two. Yeah, like all the way back, all the way back. Yeah, like that. That bull flag. Yeah, dude, that's so bullish to me right now.
It did this, and then it did that, right?
Well, that's still considered a flag.
That, right? So, I mean, well, yeah, I guess so, because this on a smaller time frame would look way more like this, because you know this is like, well, I don't know, maybe this part, but anyways, yeah, this looks good. Regardless, another leg up here, and we're going to go into price discovery soon, I believe. I truly believe, you know, where we end up. A lot of people are calling that. You know, that's why I don't think the 130 is going to happen by Friday, because a lot of people are calling that 130 to kind of be this local top and then a pullback to possibly 110. But I think that getting to 130 is going to take us another like 2 to 4 weeks at least. That makes sense, right? And then the pullback a little bit. We'll see. We'll see.
We saw it go from 69,420 in 5-6 days. It went to 100K. Like it was ruthless after the all-time high.
All right, let's take a look here on the other chart. So this is everything outside of Bitcoin and the top 10. And the alt market is starting to rebound, right? Like I said, first, Bitcoin really needs to figure out where it wants to go, at least for the local top here. When I say that, I mean like the next 3 to 5 days. If it hits like 112 and then we kind of hover between 110 and 113, try to get to 115, then we can see like a kind of a catch up here in the alt market, which would be really cool, because I think getting above this 50-day EMA band here is would be really good, right? But once it does get to kind of okay, I'm done for this local top Bitcoin, I mean, then I think this kind of jumps up here. We start to see some good alt market pricing. But yeah, looking pretty good in the indicators as well for the others. So guys, I mean, everything's looking good. And you guys are probably, wondering, why was Yagobi so positive the past week when we did have some pretty decent pullbacks, right? We got all the way back to 101. It's because the M2 money supply has been on point, guys. I mean, that's what we've been following, right? And today is a perfect example of that, right? So there's going to be a point where that supply kind of stalls and that's probably whenever you're like, okay, what's Bitcoin going to do here the next 10-week catch-up period. So, but let's take a look at the day on the alts. Looks really good. You see some of these meme coins. This is the crypto bubble data here. Trump coin up 11.6%, and Fart coin is up 11.4%. All is good and well when Fart coin is up. And then you see a couple of these other memes really taking off as well. Dog with Hat up 12.4%. Let's see if we can give a little bit of positivity to the Bitcoin ecosystem here with Dog Go to the Moon. Let's take a look. Oh, Dog right here up 11.9% on the day, guys. And a lot of that had to do with Kraken. Look, if you have been a Runes bag holder, which a lot of us have been, I cannot, I can't wait till it actually gets on Kraken, because I know you guys have tears of joy probably right now because the CEO actually came out. I know we're going to get into that later, and it's pretty much official, guys. So that's really good. Mog, you see down up here 14.4%, but going back to the top 1 through 100, some of the utility plays, you see Uniswap up 8.8, ICP up 3.9, Jasmy up 3%, and so things are looking good. Anything sticking out to you?
Farcoin has just been a leading indicator. It's like, it's weird. If Farcoin is up today, tomorrow the market's bullish. That's just kind of how it's been. There's some days where we look and Bitcoin's up and you're seeing a lot of green, but Farcoin's down like 0.2%. And then the next day, everything's red. Farcoin's just been, to me anyway, that leading indicator for what tomorrow's going to look like. I don't know. Just test it out. Just test it out, right? Well, I guarantee you tomorrow, the whole market is up because of Farcoin.
Hey, it has proven itself correct. So
we'll see. I'm gonna really look at it now. So 11% today. I'm expecting the entire market tomorrow to be up 11% because of Farcoin. And then we'll see what Farcoin's doing, and then we'll decide what happens on Friday. Let's jump into
Farcoin indicator. Make it on Trading View, guys.
100%. So we have a new number one for the first time ever. Nabob. There was the Reaper, so the Reaper did strike last night. I don't know.
Someone must have been using some naughty words or something, because that's typically what the Reaper does, is clear everything after it doesn't like what people say.
Yeah, I mean, that could be a strategy, honestly. But shout out to Nabob, your first one of the year there. So we do have Lackey Lukey won yesterday. Benji won the day before. But congratulations, Nabob. Your first win of the year, bro. You still have a shot, man. Everyone has a shot. So all you got to do is be the first comment of the show. And today it is Nabob. So shout out to Nabob. But yeah, man. So let's jump into the rest of the roll call here. Let's see who is here. Mempool Punk in that 2 spots. Shout out to Mempool Punk. Ordinal Sweets is here. Shout out to Ordinal Sweets. Bitmap Capital, my guy here. Shout out to you, my friend. Ordinal's Chips. It's been a while since Ordinal's Chips and Ordinal Sweets are here on the same day. Appreciate you guys. He says, we are all be in heaven, guys. Hydra came to give us a heaven on earth. Yeah, sure. My guy. Danny Boy is here. Nabob again. Danny Boy says GM. He said, Danny Boy says, I'm going to Vegas, and Shizzy and Yagobi are not going. But I get to meet my boy Nighthawk and many other newbies. Yeah, Danny, sorry, man. It just didn't work this year. We will see in the future. I'm sure we'll see you at an event sooner or later, but I'm sure you're going to have an amazing time out there. He also says, Wolves lost, but B lost game one against Warriors too. SGA is fruity. Just a foul magnet.
What about that? What was it? Carl Anthony Towns, though. I mean, he was sassafras.
Well, now he's in New York, right? And New York's in the semifinals as well, or something like that. Lackey Lukey is here. Shout out to Lackey Lukey. Fortnite Clip. Shout out to you, my friend. Appreciate you being here. Neo Meister, man, we missed you. So glad you are back rocking with us. Rick G, we missed you. So glad you are back rocking with us. Glasshopper here every single day. Appreciate you, my friend. Superfan is here. Shout out to Superfan every day, man. Appreciate you every single day. Our everydayers. Rick G used to be an everydayer. Hopefully you'll be back as an everydayer. Appreciate you, my friend. Fortnite Clip says, haha, saw that. Now it's an all-time high, 100%, man. Neil Meister said, yes, sir. We got Justin here. Justin says, BTC all-time high and Dog getting on Bitcoin. He means Kraken. Happy day indeed. Yup. And we got Zappy says GM, happy all-time high. Happy all-time high, my friend. Myself says manipulators going to manipulate. Look at Diddy. Whoa. Okay. How did we get here? He manipulated. Okay. I can't go any further with that, but appreciate you, my friend. Chief Axel is here. Myself says, I remember Microsoft showing interest in Ethereum during the ETH ICO in 2014. Yeah, they were. I mean, I wasn't back then, but I did hear Microsoft was at least experimenting with Ethereum in the very early days. So
yeah, talking about stalling innovation, man. It's
yeah.
horrible whenever it's your own government doing it.
It happens though, right? I mean, they've yeah. I mean, I think they tried to install cars and electricity at one point too. So, and look how that turned out. But Tom Egan, oh wow, hey guys, track alert here. Everyone getting suddenly bullish and new all-time high, bro. Not everyone getting. I've been bullish since like 2022. All right, so we need some more love back in the Bitcoin ecosystem. Tom also says, I agree. People don't believe in this rally yet. Need a weekly close above previous all-time high. Yes, that would be absolutely amazing. He says 118 looks like the obvious fib extension. So Tom is doing some TA here. Kai Effect as GM guys and Superfan. He said, I'll see you guys in Vegas too, Danny Boy and everyone. Shout out to Superfan, man. If you're in Vegas, meet up with that guy. He is absolutely amazing. But appreciate every single one of you guys who makes roll call each and every day. We're going to get into some other news here. So let's kind of get right into dog. So Matthew Hollis Barbie, yeah, VP growth at Kraken. He said, woke up, new listing roadmap just dropped. So he dropped this tweet this morning, and in this tweet, let me for you guys. It says, basically, let me kind of go back there. Drop this down. It says, wake up, babe, new listing roadmap just dropped. So this is the new listing roadmap. So we're seeing AIOZ network, Cookie DAO, and Dog. Pretty massive.
Woo! Dude, it's like a sigh of relief that like you're actually seeing it on their official page, right? And shout out to the dog community. Shout out to Leonidas. A lot of people doubted him. A lot of people doubted you guys. And you should pat yourself on the back here. Look, this is huge. Without the dog community, honestly, Runes wouldn't. I don't think they would really have too much of a shot because it was constantly when you're the number one mentioned kind of meme token over and over and over and over again. You just win that award, and you're, what, like at least maybe like 50 to 75% lower market cap, and you're on Bitcoin. So I think this could be a kind of first big move for the entire ecosystem. Let's hope that's what it is.
Yeah, and this goes it shows you how much work Leonidas has done, right? Leonidas should be looked at right now as somebody who's really pushed the space forward. He's championing Dog, but look at Leonidas's real reason for championing Dog. He has a company called Or.io. You can mint runes. They have a chat room there to talk to the runes community. He's built, the number one place to go look at runes and ordinals. He's built something really amazing, Or.io. So people are just like, he's a large dog holder. I don't even know if Leonidas is a large dog holder. I just see Leonidas as wanting to push runes forward. So Or.io is looked at as potentially one day it could be a top company in crypto, right? I think this is just the beginning for Or.io. And I think Leonidas, his reasoning is very, very amazing. You want your leader to be building here, right? And for not just reasons of I want number to go up so I can dump it on everyone else. No, he's not that type of guy from my point of view. He might be, I don't know, but from my point of view, he looks like somebody who's trying to grow the ecosystem and build a superior company in the ecosystem.
Yeah, and Or.io could be looked at as like, the most used explorer within the ordinals ecosystem, and now runes as well. As you can look up data there, and then also what does that turn into in the future? Just imagine the very first baby steps of Google, which is so funny because it kind of looks the same right from the homepage, but there's so much more under the hood though, right? Like they have advertising solutions, they have AI, they have all these things. And so if it goes well, like Leonidas could be building something huge that people in society are going to be using in the future. And that's what we hope. We hope that people are using the Bitcoin database in the future. And I know there's fundamentalists that don't like that, but it seems that you can't get away from that. It's weird. It's like the harder that they try to push like Bitcoin for microtransactions, that doesn't grow. The harder that they try to push away from using the database for JPEGs and on-chain economy, that grows. So I guess for the maxis, keep doing what you're doing, because you're helping the growth of the on-chain community economy.
Yeah, and the bankers, people like Jamie Dimon, really helped push Bitcoin, right? It's the same thing, right? So it's kind of goes back to the maxis are everything they hated about Jamie Dimon and the banking mafia, right? The Bitcoin laser eyes mafia is basically the same thing, and they're helping push something they hate forward. And if it wasn't for the bankers and everyone hating it, I don't think Bitcoin would be where it's at today. So if it's not for the maxis and later eyes, I don't think ordinals, runes, and even alkanes in the future will be where they're at, because we're spamming the chain.
Yeah. So thank you, actually, right?
Yeah. No, 100%.
Yeah.
Every great product in history was hated at one point. Like the people who made money off horses hated cars. The people who sold candles hated electricity, right? The people who had the whole banking system in their hand hated Bitcoin. The people who had all the power of Bitcoin hated ordinals and runes. So it's kind of like it's I'm not calling ordinals and runes electricity or the car, but maybe I am.
I mean, it's true. That's how innovation works, right? The only time it really stopped was Nikola Tesla, and I think that was just a weird kind of situation, right? But did it really? Because now we're here and all this
There's
stuff.
a company called Tesla that has electric cars.
I guess it ends up working its way out regardless, even if it takes a lot
eventually.
longer.
Yep. All right. So we're sticking to Bitcoin ecosystem, but we're going to head to a different meta protocol. So Alkanes B just became the biggest Alkanes mint ever. 1 million total mints, a major milestone for Bitcoin L1 tokens and DeFi demand. So the last token to have 1 million mints was a BRC20 called Rats. That was the last token with 1 million mint out. So I'm not saying anything. I'm not saying anything about it being Rats, but B may be the Rats of Alkanes. 1 million mints signal a breakout moment for the Bitcoin smart contract token era. So this is technically the first smart contract token B, but this isn't really about B. It's more about Alkanes now having their first big mint out and really kind of pushing fees to the miners. I mean, you saw SAS per VByte back at 810 for the first time. I mean, the miners are loving Alkanes right now because nobody's minting runes right now. Nobody's minting BRC20s right now, but Alkanes are the reason why the mempool is filling up for the most part.
I don't know how I feel about this whole situation. Obviously, I think it's good for the ecosystem for liquidity to kind of come in and stuff like that, right? But when you have like these competing meta protocols now, we've been dealing with this for quite a while. Whether it was BRC20s, ARC20s, TAP tokens, and then eventually runes. Now we have Alkanes, right? So Alkanes definitely has made a big splash as of late. I would say the last month or so, it's been really hyped up and a lot of usage. So what happens? How do you figure Alkanes can sustain and be substantial in like competition with something like runes? Or do you think one wins again? Like, we're back to this conversation again.
Well, so for the ecosystem to thrive, we need competition, right? We need people to keep elevating, to keep innovating, right? We need key people to keep pushing forward. So how do you light a fire underneath Casey's ass, right? Alkanes, right? How do you light a fire under Domo's ass, right? Runes, right? So it's kind of like without innovation, without competition, we have no innovation. So it doesn't matter who wins to me. Like I don't even care who wins. The only thing that matters is that we just move our entire Bitcoin ecosystem step forward. And I think Alkanes is doing that by lighting a fire potentially under runes builders to say, hey, we got smart contracts if you're using WASM. You could do the same. Honestly, you really could. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
But yeah, pretty big. All right, moving along here. Let's get into the Magic Eden thing, because this is really, I thought it was a big deal, but looking into it, it seems like, I'll get your opinion on it, but Magic Eden partners with Lightspark to bring instant, low-fee Bitcoin transactions to NFTs and DeFi. Spark Tech powers this, enabling native Bitcoin trading without bridges or wraps. Spark is Lightspark's upgraded Lightning solution. So this is they're building on top of Lightning, offering sub-second BTC payments, 1 cent fees, and programmable APIs. It keeps Bitcoin trustless, but adds real DeFi usability and dev tools. Spark uses advanced Lightning channels for instant Bitcoin settlement. Magic Eden integrates this to let users swap, trade, and mint with real Bitcoin, no wrap tokens, just pure Bitcoin flows. When you click on Magic Eden, your wallet sends the Bitcoin using Spark's API. Spark finds the optimal path through Lightning channels to the seller. The transaction settles in under a second. Runes and Ordinals delivery still depends on Bitcoin's block time, 10 minutes. What Spark actually improves, you don't wait to fund your wallet with Bitcoin before transacting. Bitcoin payments are instant and cheap, sub-cent. The user experience becomes smoother, feels like Venmo. Without Spark, you need to send Bitcoin from your wallet to Magic Eden. Wait 10 minutes for that to confirm. Then you can buy Runes and Ordinals. Then wait 10 minutes to receive it. So what do you think about all this? It just feels like Spark is going to be using the Lightning Network just for the Bitcoin part of the transaction. But the Runes and Ordinals aspect of when you're buying stuff, that is still going to take 10 minutes. But on top of that, this does figure, like, I was wondering how Slingshot was going to be able to do this. We do know that Magic Eden has bought Slingshot or partnered with it, or however you want to say it. And they said they're going to add Runes. And I was thinking, how are they going to do this? Is this the way, one, Runes are going to be on Slingshot, and two, is this going to kind of help Magic Eden with the process and adoption?
Possibly. But the funniest thing that could ever happen is that Lightning transactions majority become on-chain transactions, right? I feel like because they made Lightning for micropayments, for coffee, for blah blah blah, blah, right? Like, this is the whole, like, Jack Dorsey's, like, dream is for Bitcoin to be micro payment, right? And if, like, let's say that, like, this works well, right? And all of a sudden now, like, Lightning transactions are like become like 70% of, like, DGen transactions. I would just love that. But anyhow, initially I thought this was a nothing burger, but then now thinking about it, even subtle things like this, and to me, I think it's subtle because, like, when I buy something, yes, it sucks to wait for that Bitcoin to come over, right? But like I don't necessarily want to sell it right away, and so I'm okay at that moment or whatever, or like get rid of it right away. So I'm okay for waiting for a block. Maybe that I'm used to it because we've been in this space since 2023 with ordinals and waiting and all that stuff. But making even minor adjustments, which this could be looked at as a pretty big adjustment, to make the UI that much better actually could be a big deal. So, maybe this is something to have to do with the Slingshot integration. Maybe they see this as, like, whenever you buy something on Magic Eden with the Ethereum network or another network, it's just instantaneous constantly, right? And so they want to get that kind of feeling for the user and see where, like, how much it improves the experience. We'll see.
Yeah, and the one aspect I do see this is amazing. Imagine you're not in the Bitcoin ecosystem, right? You don't have a wallet, none of that, right? But let's just say you go to Magic Eden, right? You download the Magic Eden wallet. So now you have a wallet with no Bitcoin in there. But you want that puppet. You see that puppet? Potentially, I'll be able to hit that puppet. A QR code will come up. I can use my Apple or my credit card or whatever, buy it, and instantly get that Bitcoin, boom, and get that Bitcoin sent so that puppet happens in one transaction. How do you feel about something like that? Do you think that is a big deal? You have no Bitcoin, but you're still able to buy that puppet using what Spark has built in the Lightning Network?
Yeah, whatever the quickest experience is, right? Like, that's what everybody looks for, and it's 2025, right? So everybody's about instant gratification, quickness, like the speed, and everybody has ADD pretty much at some level, right? So they're just kind of like, all right, I'm ready to go on to the next.
Yeah, 100%. Well, speaking going on to the next, Charles Hoskinson is in the news. Cardano is not looking good. So let's kind of get into this a little bit. So this week, Cardano founder Charles Hoskinson is facing significant scrutiny over allegations that he misused his authority to transfer over $600 million worth of ADA tokens during the 2021 hard fork. Hoskinson denied the claims as slander, saying the unclaimed ADA became unspendable post-fork. 99.8% was later redeemed. So that's why people are saying that he printed the money. He's saying that, because of the hard fork, they had to basically burn that ADA, and all he did was remake it in the fork, right? So yeah, they did print new ADA, but he's saying there was the same ADA that they kind of lost during the fork, and the rest went to Cardano's governance group Intersect. So 99% went to Hawkinson's group, I guess, of the $600 million worth of ADA, and then there's 0.2% went to the government group, the governance group. I don't know what that's about, but anyway, how do you feel about this? And do you think Hawkinson is in the wrong at all?
I don't know all the details, and besides what you just told me, but that's hearsay. That's
what happened.
But that's
So
well, that's yeah.
600 million of ADA was on the fork. When they forked it, that it got lost, gone.
But who had ownership of that on the original version?
The Hawkinson Foundation.
So what's the difference?
But they're saying that he should have never reprinted the ADA.
Why?
Because
like
it should have burned.
That doesn't happen on Bitcoin.
Well,
like
Bitcoin,
whenever they forked Bitcoin Cash or
so
whatever, like everybody got the same amount of coins that they had.
Fork. Like it's not the same as just forking the chain, right? Because Bitcoin chain still goes on forward, nothing happens with it. These guys fork off, right? So it's just it's basically copy and paste code that you just
but what his statement was is that the original UTXOs were unspendable, so it's the same. You know what I mean? Like the original
shouldn't that money die?
The original 600 million that they had that was active, right? They had that. They could have spent it at that moment, right?
Yep.
And then they did the fork, whatever, whether it was an upgrade or whatever. That carries over. Why wouldn't it?
Yeah, but you had to reprint it. That's the problem. Is they basically edited the code to print more ADA. And then they have the power to do that whenever they want.
So okay. So that's I think that's a little bit of a different issue, just more of like controls and stuff. But like, if that's just now coming up with like all these builders and developers that have been working on Cardano, like, I don't know. I think that's lazy, right? So look, I don't know enough, first of all, because I'm sure there's Cardano
I looked into
listeners.
it. So you have any questions? I probably have the answer.
I'm talking about fact versus speculation and all that stuff, right? Because like at the end of the day, they said they're doing an audit to prove his innocence, right? That's what his statement was. So if you have to do an audit, then that means that you have to prove something. So that means that whatever assumption or speculation is out there is not agreed. There's not consensus about what happened. And so that's why I don't want to speak on like, oh, he was wrong or he didn't do, you know what I mean? Like, I think myself has a perfect comment here. It says innocent until proven guilty. I think that's what needs to happen here.
Well, I mean, everything's on chain, so you can see that ADA, that $6 million of ADA being burnt.
The way you explained it to me, I don't see anything wrong with that. The way you explained it.
And then, but like, so the community thought that ADA was going to be burnt for good. That ADA was never, because it was just an ADA voucher at the time. It was just an ADA voucher at the time. It wasn't like spendable ADA even at that time. But it was available to them to convert to ADA, right? And
so they could have spent it though, right?
They messed up by not basically making an ADA, and then it would have forked over like everything else. But the fact that it was like a voucher of ADA instead of the actual, think of it as a wrapped version of ADA, right? It was like a wrapped version, and then so what happened was they came over. And
what
then
is the audit going to prove though?
There's nothing. I mean, it's on chain. There's no audit. You can see, but then the problem is they sent that $600 million to Coinbase and sold it.
So that's the statement though, that there's an audit that's being done. So that statement is made for some reason. Right. And so that's what I'm saying is like that, if we, I don't think we have every detail
already transferred where anything about a audit.
Yeah. So he definitely spoke about an audit because I saw in his X post. But so that's the whole deal. That's basically what's next is like, okay, this audit's going to prove that, what you guys are saying is not matching up with what I'm saying, basically.
Yeah.
And so, that's.
I don't think he did anything wrong. I just think he wasn't forthcoming about everything, right?
Well, this is the problem whenever like founders of blockchains get too
Yeah.
involved. That is one thing I think that he's way too like, you know, wants to be the center of everything, right? And
Yeah.
and that is trouble. That just spells trouble with when you're a founder of a blockchain. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? So, like, can you think of another founder of a blockchain that's like that? Like, even Vitalik, he's actually very like socially kind of awkward, and like,
Yeah.
you know, he's people drag him into it more than he does, except for his horrible hip hop dance that he did in that conference. I forgot when that was. I think 2020 or 2021. But other than that, like, he's been pretty quiet. You know, kind of staying quiet. CZ maybe CZ, but he speaks more on behalf of the centralized exchange than he does on BSC. You know, so I think that's what gets you in trouble is whenever you want to be the star still, you want to be the attention. You know, the story about him lending his private jet to Metallica, and they were just like, hell yeah, we can take this to our, you know, for our tour, and then they get on the private jet and he's on there with them, you know, and they're like, oh, you're coming, and then so they do it, they're cool, they, you know, probably party for like one tour or one destination, and then next he continued on the tour, and eventually they're like, we'll get our own jet. So to me, like, I feel like that is like probably not the best, you know, way to be in the spotlight. But other than that, like, from what I've heard so far, I don't see anything wrong with it. Obviously, being straightforward is very important. But I need to read more into what this audit's about, and I would hate for that to, you know, for it to be like he was malicious and 600 million ADA, and because that's going to be really bad for the builders that have invested in the community that's invested into that ecosystem.
I don't think he was being malicious. I just think that he was an idiot and didn't redeem that ADA, and then it was burnt. The community thought, hey, awesome, Charles burnt all that ADA, this is amazing, and then he just reprints it in the hard fork. I think that's the problem, right? So, but I don't think he did anything malicious. I don't think anything on Cardano, but I mean, the fact that he did send that entire 600 million to Coinbase right after wasn't the best. But let's kind of get into some comments here. We do have some more comments. So Malam Yuri says, my comment was reaped. Oh, it was you. I'm sorry. Myself says, can Dog hit 80 billion market cap like Doge did last cycle? No.
80 billion.
I'm sorry. Not this cycle. Maybe
I mean, we would have to be on a huge like bender of craziness. And you got to remember how much stimulus was in circulation too last 2020 and 2021. And people were spending that on all types of crazy stuff, all types of different asset classes. And so
I'm always going to fight you on that. I don't think it was a stimulus. I just think it was rates being zero.
I saw it with my own eyes, though.
But rates being zero, I mean, I took out 50K out of my house, right?
Well,
so it's
but like the people that I feel like benefited from that. Like, so I was heavily into the collectible cards industry.
Yeah,
I saw the prices get crazily inflated, and you're talking about like, you know, 200 to 500% for cards that were like they're nice cards, but they weren't like rare, extremely rare. Everybody wanted them. They were just like, okay, LeBron, you know, Chrome, like 2008 or something, PSA 10. It would jump up 500 to 1,000%. Seriously, crazy numbers, and like across the entire market. And so, you know, I feel like a lot of the stimulus kept getting like just pushed into markets like that, which drove the prices up. Not everybody was taking $50,000 on their house.
Everyone I know did.
That's weird. No one I knew did. No one.
Everyone.
Zero people actually. I can't think of one person.
My sister does real estate. She did 1 month. She averages between 2 and 6 like refinancing. She had 60 finances in 1 month. 60 in 1 month.
So obviously, like, you know,
you were actually making money.
So look, I
refinancing.
Like, we refinanced, of course, because you're going to get the lowest percentage, but we didn't take extra cash out.
Why not?
Just because, like, we didn't want to add to our debt that we already had for our house.
I mean, it was free money at that point because it was actually our bill was less because our interest rate.
But you're still paying that like down the
1%.
line. You're still paying that down the line.
It's a 1%. You know what I mean? Like, I'll take 50K on 1%.
Yeah.
Like,
so we didn't want to throw $50,000 on it. But like, we also had a plan to, you know, pay it off quicker, right? So I think everybody had, you know, different perspectives, but like, yeah, like I actually didn't know anybody that took extra cash out. They did. Everybody refinanced, of course.
Yeah, I'm telling
you
you,
were talking
if you
like
know a
really
realtor,
low
I guarantee
percentage.
you they've record refinances during that time. I think that's where majority of that money came into crypto. So stimulus was like it was, I think about $1,400 I got, right? Twice.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't, I mean, that money,
each person,
I
right?
think I dropped it on credit cards. Yeah, I mean, it was like,
Each
so
person.
that's $2,800.
But you have to think about how many people are in those markets, right? So if you're a young 20 to 29, 20 to 30 person, and you're buying cards and stuff like that, and you get you're throwing that $1,500 into it.
I'm just saying rates dropping is more stimulus than a stimulus check, in my opinion.
Yeah, but that's not going to happen again, though, to where, because most people that were able to refinance did, and then the rate you're not going to get, even if they drop rates, you're not going to get anywhere close to what we got. And then also the millennials, or not the millennials, was it Gen Z after that? They actually were priced out, and they can't even refinance because they didn't buy anything.
No, 100%. I mean, like I said, ours went from 6% to 1%.
Yeah,
you know, so it's just like, sure, like, are you kidding me? Like, you know, so, and then it was just free money sitting there, so we took it, and you know, obviously paying it back month to month. But I think that's how we're going to. Rates dropping is a bigger deal, in my opinion. That's just my opinion. To a bull market, but we'll see. Tom Egan says, yeah, just had an empty mempool earlier today. So honestly, yeah, because the B mint is over, and there is another one. It's like A-hole or something that's minting, but it's not minting fast like B was. So he's like, so honestly, we just need everyone to win right now. He said, by the way, if you didn't hear, we launched Hypermall now. Super early days, but can trade tap tokens, fully decentralized, peer-to-peer across the validator network, no gas. Yeah, but don't I have to like download an app? Like you guys, Tom, you guys at Track don't make shit easy. Like I'm not downloading an app to mess with Hypermall.
Well, you have to download an app on your PC.
Yeah, you have to run. It's like the validator. Yeah, you have to like run. It's not. You can't go to a site. I don't think you can go to a site. You have to download an app. No one's going to download an app. Do you think people are going to download an app?
On a phone, they will, but not on a PC. I don't think so, unless they're running a node, because like that was so important for the runes launch. Yeah. Remember?
I mean, I don't even download Telegram. I use the web page. Yeah. Like I'm not downloading shit. Like I downloaded Zoom yesterday because I had to. But
I wonder what the functionality of it is, because I wonder why you can't just have a web browser.
He said, yeah, it's an app right now.
He said web version coming and phone version coming. Yeah, I think the web version is where you're going to be able to onboard much better, like Hyperliquid, right? Like you go to Hyperliquid, deposit, you can play around. That's the approach, in my opinion, that you guys should really kind of really be pushing, in my opinion. But that's just me. You know, you're going to have some diehards that do the download on PC. But
I'm not trading tap tokens right now in a Bitcoin environment, right? We're going to go in Taproot Swap and trading, you know, tap for track. Why would I want to deposit my Bitcoin into this app and then trade it for tap token? It just doesn't make any sense. Maybe if they had runes, if they had Alkanes, but tap tokens, I don't.
Well, I think that's the
standard.
So I think that might be a part of the plan with Hypermall, but I got to look at, you know, dive into it again, because I want to say that I heard that, you know, they do want to diversify the you know, the fungible standard, Bitcoin fungible standards in there, but maybe I heard that wrong. Maybe you could clarify, Tom. That would be great.
Yeah, we'd love to catch up too, man. Love to have you back on the show. We missed you. It's been a while. We had Tom on the show for what, like 3 full months, right?
Yeah, those were fun, man. Those were fun for sure.
It was. But let's take a look at Magic Eden real quick. So if you go Magic Eden, so people don't know, it's hard to find runes now. Like I am I an idiot for struggling with this? I struggle to find runes every single time, even though I know where they're at. But if you go to trade and then you go down the runes, that is where I'm used to it up here, man. And I gotta like look for them. But if you go to trade and go to runes, you can take these runes. But let's go to the daily here.
You think Magic Eden starts to like speed up their like runes focused upgrades and stuff because of the Kraken thing? Because think about it, like, if people might skip over Magic Eden now and, you know, either use Sats Terminal or Kraken, right? Kraken just directly. Yeah. I mean, not probably from our group. It's going to be more of the onboarding. So that's the whole slingshot marketing approach, right? Is to get that ready. So we'll see.
So I have MEXC, right? I use it a lot. But like if I buy Dog, I'm gonna send Bitcoin to my wallet and buy Dog on Magic.
Yeah.
Maybe that's just me being on chain all the time. Because if I use Sats Terminal, I can get Amber points, right? So that's kind of another reason why I do it, and the prices are about the same. But like in the sense of, so I just, as somebody who uses a centralized exchange like MEXC, it's kind of where I do a lot of my bridging. When I go from token to another token, I just use MEXC in out. It's the cheapest place, and then I still come online. So even if Kraken, I'm not somebody who has a Kraken account though either. Do you have a Kraken account?
I'm gonna open one. I want to see how.
No,
I'm gonna open one. I want to see how easy it is to kind of onboard, offboard type of situation, because I think people get used to what they're comfortable with. I mean, a lot of times I'll just use like Coinbase still, just because it's so easy, because I've used it for so long. But I wonder if it's just as easy, and they're gonna be supporting runes and stuff. I'll be checking that out maybe.
Yeah, I'm curious of the fee too. If you do open it, let me know, because like what I do right now when I want to buy something, I buy Bitcoin on Cash App, send that Bitcoin to MEXC, and then buy what I want to buy, or I send that Bitcoin to my Execs wallet and buy it on chain. I usually do everything with Bitcoin. If I want to get Ethereum or Solana or whatever, I'll send that Bitcoin to MEXC because it's the cheapest place like to bridge, because you're just sending it there. You're selling your Bitcoin, you're buying the Solana, and you're withdrawing, in a very fast-paced experience. So, but yeah, I would still get the Bitcoin and then buy Dog on chain. I don't know. It just feels different about having Dog in the wallet. I never withdrew Dog though from MEXC, so I don't know. Maybe that. Well, I don't know what that's like, but yeah. So we got Dog up 10% on the day. Billy. So this is one thing I thought too. I thought when Dog got listed, or the rumor of Dog getting listed, I thought it was going to pump other tokens. You are seeing some tokens pop. You are seeing Seiko Hamster up 49% today. You're seeing Decentralized up 40% today. You're seeing Lobo up.
What happens if Decentralized comes back in that whole group? What were they called? Their
lawsuit just got dropped. Yeah, the
Kongs.
Kongs.
Yeah, the Kongs, right? So we all know what happened in Decentralized was a really hyped rune and all that stuff, and then it just kind of they stopped building here in a sense, right? They just kind of backed up and said, "Hey, it's decentralized," right? Yeah,
they guarded it.
But at the end of the day, like there are other builders that just didn't have the patience to kind of wait till where we are today, right? Like where Kraken's about to list Dog. It was a long time, dude, and not just the builders, but like some of the community left, right?
Yeah.
And so that's a big props, by the way, to the builders that stayed the entire time. You get that's one thing I just really want to highlight for the Bitcoin ecosystem builders is that they don't, majority don't give up. They'll like try to throw like a million things against the wall. If the first thing doesn't work, they'll be like, "Oh, I got it finally," or "This is my approach I'm going to take." And so. But anyways, so how would you feel if the Kongs kind of came back and was like, "Oh, listen," and then it pumps to like 20 million? Do you believe it? Do you trust it? Or are you like, I'm out, I'm not going to mess with this?
So the Kongs were in the middle of a lawsuit as well. Do you remember that? Where SEC?
I remember hearing a little something about it, but not really.
That was so the Kongs basically got this lawsuit 2 years ago, but then Cointelegraph, for some reason, 2 years later, put out an article about the Kongs getting screwed. And that same week is when they decentralized, right? So it was like they were going through a whole bunch of stuff, a bunch of scrutiny, and then Decentralized actually tanked that day 40% when that Cointelegraph article came out. And I think after that, they wanted to kind of step away from the project because it was called Decentralized after all, right? And it's rune number 2. So I don't know if they did it for the sense that they stopped building or they didn't want to be a part of Bitcoin ecosystem anymore, or if they did it to kind of separate themselves from the coin while they're dealing with the lawsuit. But the lawsuit recently just got dropped. So fully by the new SEC. So I don't know. Maybe they see this as an opportunity now.
It is number 2, and I don't know, man. Wouldn't it be amazing if like all the just the energy and amazing like stuff came back to the Bitcoin ecosystem, because like these big entities found ways to make it, like Magic Eden with Lightning and Kraken's onboarding and all this stuff. Now all of a sudden like the collections that people forgot about are just now worth like 20x more, and the interest comes back to the Bitcoin ecosystem massively, which could happen because Sui, which is getting a lot of attention, is very interested in like helping scale Bitcoin. And you know, like I've always had this feeling, you know, inside that like we've always been in the right place at the right time. And obviously we're covering other parts of the crypto industry, but you know, our hearts are definitely like always have been in the Bitcoin ecosystem. And I think that could happen, and I hope it does.
Yeah.
But we'll see, right?
Yeah, 100%. Did we send that over to?
He said that he was gonna be about 10 minutes late, but let me drop it in there.
I got it. Done.
Okay,
So
cool.
yeah, so we're gonna be getting the Sats terminal guys on in about 10 minutes, but let's kind of jump in here. You see Mim. Which are these? Are you bullish on right now? Obviously,
I mean, you know,
you're a Billy
yeah.
guy, right? So, but like, why do you think? I thought, like, looking at that just today, I always thought, and something we even said before, I was like, Doll gets listed, Billy up 40%, pops up 50%. You know, all these coins up so much. Why do you think these? So, where's the speculators at? Speculating on the next token to get listed on Kraken.
I think it's more about the, you know, trickle down effect hasn't really happened yet, right? Obviously, people are pouring some into DOG because it's jumped up, but it's not like crazy, you know. It
10%.
was, I think before this, actually, before the announcement, before we even knew anything about, like, for sure about Kraken, was I think DOG got to like 370, didn't it?
Yeah.
Or was it 270? I think it did. It gets to like 358, 360, and like we're like 4. So it's not really crazy yet, but I do think it does get crazy. And I think when that happens is whenever people start speculating on some of these other ones, right? But man, I could really see that happening, kind of just like all the patience and all the conviction and stuff really paying off for people that stuck over here and stuff like that, and then this creating the snowball effect. But yeah, so I do think that like once DOG gets back to $1 billion, we'll know we have arrived back into like this bullish kind of degen environment, right? And then I think we'll see Billy like starting to knock on the door of 80 million, 100, pops out of 150. Like they rotate, right? It's weird. Like Billy might get going first, and then next thing you know, Pops is really picking up momentum, and now there's a new person in the squad, the Magic Internet Money, right? The Wizard converted over from BRC20 to Runes, and that's a whole nother community, right? And you have big people saying, you know, this is, I think Ansem said this is the best meme ever in terms of like the image, right? And so I think that there's, if this happens the way we see it can happen, Kraken, Slingshot, then you're gonna see also the other centralized exchanges jump on board, and some of these other apps that are new, like, you know, Moonshot already added them, I believe. And so it's kind of prepping for a huge revival.
Yeah, 100%. And do you think potentially people that have bought the rumor are kind of selling into this? Is that kind of maybe why we're not seeing the buying pressure being as big as it is? Or do you think that people are just, you know, they've heard this from Kraken many times? It's kind of like, let's see DOG on it first.
There's definitely bag holders that came over. You know, if you remember the launch of Runes, wasn't like we all had been here since 2023, like all the OGs that are listening in and stuff like that. But then when Runes was announced for the launch, there was a lot of like broader, more people that usually are on the east side, Solana, you know, influencers that were talking about Runes this, Runes that, Runes that. Probably a lot of them, you know, poured into it and either sold for losses or just was like, okay, it's like a dust bag, and now that they see the opportunity, they're probably exiting, you know, some of them. But I think those people are gonna really pay for it down the line. They're gonna be the Germanys, right, of our ecosystem, and I do think that some of them are smart enough to hold though. So
yeah, I hope so. And so when can I expect maybe a boom though? Like, when can I expect, like,
so
DOG listing day?
No, June 7th at 12:53 p.m. No, just kidding. Yeah,
I bet you that's a Tuesday.
No, I think DOG listing day will be more of, I think people are going to be celebrating. You see spaces and stuff like that.
Okay.
But not necessarily like a super boom. I do think that like it's going to have to be when Bitcoin chills out a bit and says, okay, I'm done for this run. And then I think like, so it gets to like 130. Let's say it gets to 130 and let's just say it gets to 130 in 3 weeks. Okay, whether you
Yeah.
think it's going to happen sooner or I think it's going to happen later, whatever. Let's say 3 weeks, and then it chills and then it starts to kind of tail back to 120 or whatever, and we know that this is the local top. I think runes actually start to really benefit, like one of the ecosystems that really start to benefit from that, and because of all these catalysts that are here now, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you have infrastructure, you have centralized entities, and I think that's going to call on other centralized entities. You know, Kraken hasn't been like this top 3 centralized exchange for us, but one thing I do know is that they have become more and more strong with their branding and stuff like that with the US and all these things. They're not as timid because, you know, the SEC's leaving them alone finally. And so I think Kraken could actually be a pretty big player here in the next 6 to 12 months. And I think they're kind of doing a Magic Eden play here, dude. I think they're like, hey, look, we're rolling our dice. We're going to be the first one out of the big ones that brings on Bitcoin fungibles. And we saw what happened with Magic Eden's dice roll with ordinals. In my opinion, it's what brought them to the top, you know, digital art exchange.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, it's gonna be really interesting what happens over the next couple weeks. So you're basically saying that 130 and during that sideways momentum of Bitcoin, during that 130 leg up, you're gonna see a lot of the Bitcoin layer 1 assets kind of move. Is that kind of what I'm hearing correctly?
Yes, that's what I believe. I could be wrong, but that is what I believe. Because I do think that we're, you know, once we get to like that 130, I think we do pull back to possibly even like 110, which is still, mind you, would be an all-time high still if we're today. You know what I mean? 110 would still be an all-time high today. At the time, everybody's gonna be like, oh my God, like blood in the streets, but still higher than where we've been, right? So you know, and then, but I think it doesn't last too long. I think we go through like maybe like, you know, just that pullback period. And I think, you know, Bitcoin layer 1 assets and some other alt areas, maybe SUI starts to really thrive at that point. Solana, you know, Solana's been still having volume and stuff. I don't know. Maybe they lose some of their appeal, you know, a bit, but then we have that eventual Q4 glorious moment. Hopefully we'll see.
100%. All right. So if you're buying runes today, where are you buying them at, right? I tell you where I'm buying them at. I'm buying at Sats Terminal. And this isn't a plug, guys. It's just because so this morning they put out an article about their rewards program. And there's this thing called Amber. Think of Amber as Magic Eden diamonds, right? I'm somebody who made off like a bandit. You are somebody as well who really made off really well with some Magic Eden diamonds. And those diamonds actually became the Magic Eden token. I can't say that's going to happen with the Amber, but it's kind of what I'm thinking, right? So how do you get Amber? So there is a couple places to get it. Obviously, Sats Terminal, but like when you download a wallet, they're giving you 1,000 Amber for just getting a wallet, guys. And I'm going to tell you this, but I don't know if I'm allowed to. Just keep getting load up all your wallets with that Amber, because you know, kind of what I was reading from that their thread today was that, you know, eventually in the future that Amber is going to get, you're not going to get 1,000 Amber for signing up, right? So highly recommend you guys take advantage of Sats Terminal. And guys, a lot of our partners here are airdrop opportunities. That's one thing that's absolutely amazing about our partners. Our community is going to make out. That's kind of why we do partner with them, because we do see opportunities, especially for our viewers here, that can actually take advantage of this. So guys, I know a lot of you guys are lazy. Don't be lazy. Go to Sats Terminal. I know you have an Experts. I know you have a Magic Eden wallet. I know you have an Oil wallet. I know you have a Unisat wallet. Just connect them. Immediately you'll see 1,000 Amber show up. And what that's going to do is that's going to set you up for an airdrop, set you up for some Amber, and that Amber could lead to future gains, maybe. But definitely want to accumulate as much Amber as you can possibly get, guys. I'm telling you this because I read the thread today and I got super bullish. But accumulate as much Amber as you can. I've been accumulating. I've been trading here. Anytime I'm buying runes or selling them, I'm doing it here. Anytime I'm buying or selling Alkanes, I'm doing it here. Mainly doing it because it's the same thing. Because like, let's just say you want to buy something and it's all Magic Eden, and it's going to find you the cheapest price. Because if it's still Magic Eden, yeah, you might have to pay a few extra dollars for service fee, but you're going to get like 1,500 Amber diamonds, depending on how much you're buying or selling. So highly recommend you guys do that. Take advantage of, they have a referral program as well. Set your mom up with a wallet, get her 1,000 Amber, right? And then you make 500 on top of that. Guys, airdrop hunt this potentially because there is a possibility of that. Hope I didn't give too much away.
You gave everything away, bro. You're supposed to hold all that back. No,
they put out the thread this morning. I got bullish on it. It's not my fault.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. Look, I remember this is the craziest space, you know, and one of the reasons why like I just have like a lot of love for the Bitcoin ecosystem is because when we were having fun in 2023, learning about ordinals and this collection and that collection's hot and, you know, trading and BRC20 inscriptions and all these things. Next thing you know, for all the fun that we had, we were getting runestone airdrops, right?
Yeah.
I think I got like at the time I had a lot. Like, I mean, you know, I'm sure there was people that had way more, but it was substantial, right? And
like 30, 40, how many?
No, not that much. In the double digits, like low.
Yeah.
But my point that I'm making, like I did spin it towards ordinal, so they got me on that. Yeah, but that was the first thing, right? Like when you're having fun, and I think we're gonna come through a season of having fun, and you can utilize that terminal to get runes, whatever runes you like or whatever, you can get it there, or you can, you know, utilize another tool or something like that. And what I've noticed, so we've been basically rewarded runestones, a Unisat with the pizza token, what else? Magic Eden with the diamonds. So 3 major ones that were pretty major, and then like Merlin had the party token, and then so like, you know, 4 that I count just now, right? And that was one of the biggest kind of appeals, I think, after they started coming, because we didn't expect any of that, right?
Yeah. And you got to remember too, like puppets. Like I didn't have a puppet at the time, but other puppets got airdropped those and it would end up being the pups rune, right? So that was Mount Monstrous. If you would have sold it, because they were going for like 0.1 at the time, right? So that was huge. And then there was a bunch of tiny Vikings. R6, I got
R6 went. So like
R6.
if you played R6 right, like, and you got like, I only have one though. I was a little bit like, what's going on? Like, am I doing something wrong? But but you started buying them. You're like,
I did.
These are hot. But like,
they were cheap, bro.
They went up. They went up a ton, right? And so then you know, people were just doing very well by flipping them in Magic Eden. You know, like you would have done better if you had flipped those preferred than just waiting for the rune coin.
Well, if you would have waited till April, if you would have waited to April 18th, you would that was the highest they were for all ordinals, all runes, because the 19th was the runes drop, right? And then everything went to shit after runes came out. But yeah, so but let's take a look at Bitcoin right now. Bitcoin, I mean, it's undeniable now that it's an all-time high. So
what is
so this Bitcoin undeniable now that all-time is sitting at 109,577, and the new all-time high is 109,756. We do have Gario. He says just need $600 to confirm all-time high, and he says current price is 109,285. Just need $600. So I don't know where his thing is. So every exchange is a different all-time high.
Maybe he's talking about maybe he's talking about a new all-time high from the one earlier. you know, maybe he's talking about that, because that's a great thing to say, right? Like a 2 all-time highs in one day. But I kind of called that right on the hour chart. I said, hey, look, I think this is just a normal pullback after a blow off the top here, but I think we're going higher. Some kind of sideways with an uptrend.
It's never been higher than we are right now.
Yeah, especially with the confidence of some of these, you know, people that like entities and stuff that are forecasting what Bitcoin can be by Friday. Why would we think it's just kind of a touch the all-time high and then retreat? You know, I don't think that's where we are. M2 money supply is going to continually play out in terms of the tailing of Bitcoin's price action. And I think we see probably something like 112 to 115 by Friday.
Tonight. I see one. I see, but 8 p.m. tonight, closing, we're going to have 112 to 115. But every time Bitcoin has crossed the all-time high, it has exploded past it. It wasn't just the walk-ups, hello, how you doing? I'm going back down. That doesn't happen with Bitcoin at all-time highs. Like you saw with 69,420. Once it got to 69,580, it rocked back and forth until it went to 75. And everyone's like, oh, 75 is going to be a stop. And then it shot all the way up to 100, 108 or 109, right? And I think we do get something very similar to that, but we will see.
Yep. Looks like we got our guy Cyclops down from Sats Terminal. We can bring him up first. Cyclops,
What's up,
what
bud?
is up?
Hey guys. I mean, it's hard to think about anything other than Bitcoin at the moment.
Yeah, man, it's pretty awesome to see. Is this something that you expected? You know, do you follow kind of these forecasts and stuff based off of, you know, analytics? One of the big ones has been the M2 money supply. So for us, we've been following that and kind of expecting this. But what about you?
I haven't been following M2 as much just because of time issues. Hey, Rashab. What is creating the M2 if the Fed isn't really going?
Well, we think he
So
is.
today they did.
Oh, we do.
I do have a chart here if it's going to pop up, but basically here it is. This is the U.S. money printer right now that is absolutely printing. So people are saying the U.S. isn't printing, but they are. So this is so we were at like 21 trillion in beginning of this year. So we're up about probably like 2.1 trillion in 2025 alone. And if you take a look at the Bitcoin following the global, so that right now global, so this is an 81 day lag. So Bitcoin is following the M2 money supply at 80 days. I mean, this is, you can't deny this is absolutely perfect. And if we continue on this trajectory, we're going to be at 180K by July 25th. So we're about 60 days away from 180K, according to this chart.
Theoretically.
I love that. I love that. Yeah, for sure.
I love that.
I thought it was bad.
Yeah. Look at Rashab. He's like, I'm just Devin. I'm Devin over here. No, all right, no, you're good. You're good. Do you get excited when Bitcoin goes up, or are you kind of like,
oh yeah,
heads down, building no matter what? Because you guys are constantly adding new features and stuff. So, like, what's the energy like right now with y'all?
So I stopped trusting fiat currency a while back. So I'm very happy when Bitcoin goes up. You know, it's like, dude, I hadn't seen that chart before, but like that the M2 and like global and Bitcoin price chart, that's such a strong correlation. Yeah, that
dude.
one. So,
I mean, look at this, bro. Like you can't deny 81 day lag.
Yeah. No, this is too close. So I was sending that to my friend who's a quad. I was like, have you seen this? I'm sure he has, but yeah. That's why I was like typing aggressively when you pull that up.
What has your friend that's a quant? What has he been saying? Has he been saying, "Hey, expect something big"? You know, here in the next couple of weeks, or was he like?
He was actually not he did not predict. So I know that overall he's been long on Bitcoin like recently, but he was not predicting all-time high around this time. Like he's been pretty good at calling that in the past. So
yeah, I mean he's a quant. Yeah, right. So, but we got Stan, CEO from Sats Terminal. How are you doing? Are you excited about this price action?
Dude, I'm very excited. I'm not a big fiat currency enjoyer, you know, so I'm excited to see my Bitcoins going up. We were just talking about that with Rishab in the morning. I think we will have some celebratory lunch in a ramen place not far away from our office.
Nice. Yeah. Always love a good ramen spot. It's always hits the spot. But yeah, that's awesome. Yeah. You know, so as builders, obviously it's exciting, but I feel like you guys are like kind of not necessarily dependent upon like, you know, if the market is great, you guys are constantly shipping. Is that like the, I guess, strategy for Sats Terminal is like, no matter market conditions, we're just constantly like, when a feature's ready, we put it out? Or maybe you could talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, I mean, we can just think of the volume when we launched most of our features. Like there was no volume in Runes, right? It's picked up now. I feel like so there is a correlation between the amount of people trading Runes and the volume of Runes and the Bitcoin price. I feel whenever Bitcoin price, there's like good, strong, positive price action, the runes volume picks up as well, because we see that on our charts and we see that across the market as well. And whenever the market's like Bitcoin's dumping, then I think like related to that, always the runes market also falls down, right? So whenever Bitcoin in the past month was like around 70K or something, like if you look at the amount of time between our releases, that remains unchanged regardless of the market, because we're like hyper optimistic people. We just know at some point that volume will come back, and we just want to be ready to capture it. Then the product should be there, people should be already there to be able to use it. And whenever volume is down, Bitcoin price is down, it's a very good time to build because things are more quiet. Otherwise there's always so much noise. More people are trying to launch things, or like something else is coming out that like distracts us. But whenever market is down, or people are like fading ruins or something like that, everything is like so nice and quiet. We can just keep building and shipping, focus better, and it helps in that way. Plus,
and it's easier to fight for a smaller market as well. It's like easier to conquer it, and then you conquer the small market quickly, and then market turns 180 degree and pumping like crazy, and you're there. You're already a legacy brand in that small market, and boom, everything is going great. You have transactions and stuff. That's exactly Sat's terminal story, by the way.
Yeah. So for the builders listening in, that's it sounds like a really business strategy right there. That's awesome. But for the audience that doesn't know maybe some of these guys, Cyclops, I would say CMO type of role, right? And then we have Rishab, which is the CTO role, and then Stan as the CEO. And it's great that you guys are here in person and all that stuff, and hoping that the Bitcoin community continually gets to get to know you guys better and better. But yeah, you guys have something I think that I'm able to share. I got approval from Cyclops over here. You guys are about to post something about some quests. Is that okay if I bring that up?
Yeah, we do. You might want to share the first post that we posted on our Twitter account today, because it's a whole thread about that.
Got it.
Yeah. Yeah, I read the thread this morning, got super bullish on this Amber stuff. I've been accumulating Amber for the fun of it, but now it seems to be a little bit maybe strategical coming up. So really excited about you guys talking about that.
I'll
right.
accidentally revealed like James.
Oh, for the Liquidium this morning?
Yeah.
All right. So is it the Amber Points Redux? Is that the one that you're talking about?
Yeah, that's it.
Yes.
All right. Let me bring this up here. Come on.
There was some very good vocabulary in that copy. I was reading that and I was like, damn.
Did you write it?
Go off, Salops. No, yeah, Salops wrote it.
I have to use my liberal arts or something.
All right, let's see here. All right, so let me try to zoom in here a little bit. All right, perfect. So it says Amber Points Redux. What is Amber? The mystery adds to its allure. Previously, it rewarded savvy traders on our platform, but now there are even more exciting ways to stack Amber for free. Dive in and discover for yourself. And let's see here. So season 1 explained. So that's what we're still in currently, I believe. It says we've been brewing this for ages, and it's just the start. Dive into our new gamified social platform where you can farm and stack Amber points like never before. Spread the word about Bitcoin DeFi and Sat's terminal and watch your Amber stash grow. And then there's quests. So this is, I always love whenever there's quests, because that you're gonna get rewarded pretty, something cool at least whenever you accomplish these quests or finish them. It says get ready for fresh quests dropping weekly on our platform, from linking your wallet to Sat's terminal for the first time, diving into X posts, or joining exciting project discords. We've got endless adventures waiting for you. And then there's manual quests. Our Discord and Telegram mods will hand out quests and rewards. Occasionally, we'll surprise you with games or special perks, or for our standout community stars. Stay active, and you might snag some extra Amber points for free. So there's multiple different ways for you guys to stack these Amber points here. Eternal Quest. So now we're talking about the second different kind of quest here. Many quests are fleeting, offering brief windows to snag free amber. So check back often, but a few quests are eternal. So could you maybe explain that a little bit more, Cyclops, in terms of like, you know, the manual quest and eternal quest? Maybe start with the manual side.
Yeah. Okay. So that's our moderator in Discord.
Cyclops.
Oh, do you hear me?
Yeah, it's like Kraken.
I think your audio was breaking up there.
Let me check my settings.
You seem okay now.
Were you guys
that
hearing that
better?
too, or was it me?
You know, right now it's okay. I think
Yeah.
you fixed the mic and it's great now.
All right, cool.
Okay. So that's our Discord mod and Telegram mod, Sasa. If you look at that post right above for manual. So we wanted to give space for people to engage in our Discords more because we have a lot more in the broader vision of what Sats Terminal is doing over its like of like what we think of as our timeline. So and roadmap. So we want people to start engaging more in our Discords, which we're waiting for this to be able to start pushing more. And so this just kind of like allows us to do some games in Discord that our moderators wants to do, have a way to reward people, just have it be a algorithmic thing.
Yeah.
Platform.
And it's also a community building strategy, right, as well. So it's I think that goes hand in hand there. And then you have the eternal quest here. So many quests are fleeting, offering brief windows to snag free amber. So is this like where like random quests will come up and then for a short period of time and disappear, or could you break that down?
Yeah. So right.
Yeah, I'm
Like,
sorry, man. Your mic.
And if you,
I think you might need to switch. Yeah, you might need to switch it, or if you have an extra one. It's just
It's like
breaking
a
up a
switch
bit.
sound that's in my ear. That's like killing me. Is that you? You guys getting that too?
Yeah.
All right, cool.
how is that?
Okay.
Is that better?
Yes.
Better, way better.
Yeah, so we have you know, there are quests that are always going to be eternal whether we have seasons or not. So if you trade,
What does that mean
or-
in eternal?
it means no matter what, you're going to be getting amber points between seasons regardless. So if you refer a friend using the referral link that generates when you connect your wallet, you'll be able to earn the rewards for that, and as well as trading. So for every 1,000 sats, which is about $10, it equals to 1 amber in trading. And we didn't want it to, and so like the whole point of this is we didn't want it to only be a whale game where like people with tons of money were the only ones who can have that. We want everybody to be able to get points, and so we're very generous with people to just start, like people who just start like engaging, connecting their wallets, start becoming community members, because I think that's just as important in the long term as anything else. Those things will start helping. And then 2, we don't want it to only be for Sats Terminal. We're here to make all of Bitcoin DeFi stronger. So, you know, like our devs are like great, like Rashab and team, and Davi. And so there are many ways that we could track data to get points. And so like one of them was like, okay, well, it's following a person's X account that, you know, our data can track. And so it's like, oh, well, why don't we do things to build like for like our partners and stuff down the line, be able to give them engagement and help build up other accounts. And so like I just think of it as like, how can we get the whole message out in general, and kind of like leverage all that for that.
Yeah, that's really smart actually, because it incentivizes like builders in your builder network to kind of, you know, work together towards this, you know, uniting goal here. So I love that. All right, and then we move to volume quest that says earn 1 amber point for every 1K sats or 0.0001 BTC you trade on our platform, guaranteed forever. Okay, that's what you just mentioned to Shizzy, right?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And then the referral quest, you went over that as well. Every wallet comes with a unique referral code. Unlock 500 Amber for every new joiner through your link. So you get 500 Amber points whenever they just connect their wallet to Sats Terminal. So that's a pretty good deal there. That's like earning the equivalent of moving 500K Sats, $500 today. So that is awesome.
I actually went to my mom's house, and she has an iPhone that I paid for, so I downloaded an Execs wallet and connected to Sats Terminal. So my mom's getting some.
She's like, "What are you doing?" And you're like, "Do you know what Bitcoin is?" And she's like, "I do know that one." And then you download it. Or you use it there. That's awesome. And then it says, "Jump on board today. Spread the word of Bitcoin DeFi. Show everyone how Sats Terminal simplifies Bitcoin DeFi trading, and above all, enjoy the ride." So awesome post there. I think it was very informational. Yeah, so excited about that. Is there, and you guys have a little bit more information I think you're going to drop maybe in the future as well, maybe, right? Or is that something?
Yeah, so tomorrow, so that graphic that I showed you, we're just like, so I'm a person who's a degen, and I miss everything all the time, and I'm just trying to be like, okay, what are graphics to make it really easy to do stuff for like an ADHD person? And so it's like, okay, like we're just gonna try to regularly remind people that new tasks are up every single week, especially as things kind of get developed, because it's an ongoing project. And so it's just for me, I kind of like, while I work here, it's like I try to do things that I'd want, like I need. So it's like I'm ADHD, so it's like I'm just gonna forget like about all this stuff, and unless I have like notifications on and it tells me to do this, I'm gonna forget at some point, and then I get like depressed.
You're almost reminding yourself in a sense, right?
Yeah, that's what it really is.
I'm an airdrop farmer, so I actually have alarms on my phone that go off at like 7:30 a.m.
He's crazy, man.
Check that. Hey, it's free money. It's stupid not to put your hands out and take it, right? So that's kind of what I do. So I actually have a list of every morning I wake up and I hit up Saturn for Arch. I hit up you guys. I hit up multiple, and I just do a couple trades, right? I just do a couple of something to kind of keep me going, keep me getting free money, because I've made out insane last year alone with airdrops, especially from Magic Eden, and what you guys have the Amber, it kind of reminds me of diamonds. I don't know, but
yeah, tomorrow he's gonna be like, "Hey, grandma, let me see your phone."
I'm gonna be digging her up, bro. I'm just like,
why do
all your odds.
What's the next verse, or what's a what's a Tokyo wallet? No, but yeah, that's look. At the end of the day, it really keeps the community engaged as well, right? And get them comfortable with using the platform and all that stuff, especially with new features constantly rolling out. But I have a question for you, Stan. There's big news with Kraken. Obviously, they posted again today, and DOGE was on the roadmap for listing, right? What does that do for you? And I guess, like, does it change things? Does it be like, okay, now we're going to double down on runes, or what happens to the thought process of the leader kind of the group here?
I saw the post, of course. Once they just did it straight away in like 4 minutes or 5 minutes. I saw the post. I straight away quoted it on our page, and I said, "Please DM us. I have something to offer." Obviously, that day I talked probably like 5 or 6 times, or maybe more, about Kraken, and we already looking how we can work with them, how we can connect with them. I see that they're doing an event during the Bitcoin Vegas on 28th. So I'll definitely be at that event. That's one. And I hope that we might even catch up before that. So for us, that means, like, as a business, of course, we want to get that integration. If DOC will be across all of their products, that would be Kraken Wallet, they have a bunch of other apps, right? So I think Sats Terminal would be the best integration for them, because why would you go and integrate every single AMM and marketplace individually, spend a lot of time, have a lot of discussions? All of them have different docs. We have our CTO on the call. He can confirm every single time you integrate a new platform, docs are different. It takes time. So why don't go and just integrate Sats Terminal and have all in one? For the whole community, I think it's extremely bullish, because in the end of the day, Kraken is number 2 exchange in North America after Coinbase. Kraken is getting a dog that will, I'm pretty sure that will positively influence the price movement for DOG and other runes as well, because the markets will open, more people will know about those assets. They will likely want to buy them. So I think it's extremely positive. I mean, the most positive thing would be something like Brian Armstrong writing, "Hey, I just bought 1% of my net worth. Don't go to moon." that would be
baby steps. Baby steps.
Yeah, baby step. But we should start somewhere. I think Kraken is huge though. It's an incredibly big exchange. It's an incredible business.
Do you see like this as, I compared it to a little bit like on a bigger scale, but like maybe a bigger scale. I don't know. Magic Eden really did a lot of volume, but when Magic Eden kind of rolled the dice on ordinals, they were the first, kind of NFT exchange that was like competing, I guess, for like, the top 3, to start offering Bitcoin ordinals, right? And that, in my opinion, kind of really started to help their trajectory and become like the most dominant platform in our industry in terms of like digital art and all that stuff. Do you kind of see that with Kraken? They're saying, okay, we're going to take that first leap with Bitcoin fungible tokens because it could be a big winner for us.
Like first of all, I want to comment on Magic Eden. I think that was 5D mega chess move, perfect move. Like if you play chess, it's like 2 exclamation marks move, like the best. It's like completely, it's checkmate straight away. They did an amazing move, amazing, because they were, I think they were like number 3 or even number 4 NFT platform. And then they went full in Bitcoin, completely dominated the space. Last year generated 100+ million in revenue, which is crazy, bonkers. Number 1. OpenSea is just 30 million or something like that.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah, so they outcompeted them 3x. It's incredible. So like big shout out to Magic Eden, they're mega brains, great company. Will Kraken trigger like sort of Bitcoin season 2? Who knows? We'll see, because I think it's like if we get that snowball effect, sure. Like if something else happens after Kraken, I think then it. But what that can be? More exchanges, maybe.
Binance,
I don't know,
Coinbase.
but yeah, Binance is just like goodbye. It's like season 2. We are all rich. You're closing your podcast. Everyone is going on vacation to the island straight away. It's like that's it. It's done. But
yeah,
I don't know. Of course, I'm very positive, and I think that if also like look at the news that for the last month, like just for last 30 days, we raised money from very good VCs, and we are in the space. That's a bullish signal. Kraken, we want to list DOG, extremely bullish signal. Sadgo recently partnered with MoonPay, also bullish. So in the grand scheme of things, there every single week we see a piece of bullish news coming out. And then if I think about like 6 months before that, let's say from October to March,
dead.
Something was happening, but not much. Yeah, dead, pretty much. Like nothing was happening. And right now, like the whole month, every single week, boom, 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 boom. So I'm afraid about my bags. Maybe I would have that big number that it will not fit in my Xverse wallet. Who knows?
That's a good day.
That would be a
good day for sure.
Problem. That would be a problem.
I have a question for Rashab. Okay. So recently you got.
Oh, go ahead.
I have a question for Rashab. Recently, you guys put Alkanes on the site. It's been great for me because I have issues with ID Club where $12 Bs, right? I'm trying to accumulate B, and I get like 15 down, and then I go to buy it, and it's saying, hey, one of mine was already bought. So then I jumped over to Sats Terminal, and I put in 0.003 Bitcoin, and it went great. And then I was like, all right, cool. So then I put 0.006 Bitcoin, and it was done again. So my question for you is, what was the process like of putting Alkanes on the site? And are you bullish on Alkanes right now, like as they're kind of seeing the back end and everything?
So it's kind of like Do you remember like when NFTs were really big in like 2021, 2022, right? And like a lot of people that were trading NFTs, they would have these Chrome extensions that would actually hide the pictures and only show you like the asset value. And then you could see the chart of that asset without actually looking at the picture. So that wouldn't bias you in any way. I try to be like that with Bitcoin protocols because I feel like if I try to spend too much time reading into it, try to see if I'm personally bullish on it or not, it's might not always be the right decision for the business because I obviously don't know enough to speculate on a specific protocol. And I think what's important is if the market adopts it, because if the market adopts it, then they'll have volume and then it's like an asset that people want to trade. So it makes sense for us as a trading platform to invest the time and energy to add that to the trading stack, to the stack. Right. So that's what we did with Alkanes. The day it came out, the first days I was like talking to all the people that I know in Bitcoin, and I was like, what's the alpha here? Are we expecting this to stick? Are we expecting this to be like another, like fractals kind of thing which just comes and goes away? And the notion from everybody was like, let's wait and watch. So first week, that's what I did. I was like, if we see that people are trading it, there is good volume on like a daily scale. So it's like, regardless of how the protocol works or what's going on underneath, again, looking at the chart, I can be like, okay, volume is growing, means people are adopting this, means there is a market here. And there is, again, the same inefficiency that we saw in BRC20s and runes. And we have the solution to that. So it just made sense to add it to the stack. And then going forward, I think we're going to have the same approach on any other protocol that comes out. If it sees adoption, there's significant volume, and we see that we can help make that trading experience better, then we would add it to the trading stack. Because at the end of the day, it's like we don't want to have we want to be like we don't want to have an opinion on what people trade. We just want to make it, if they want to trade it, we want to make sure we're the easiest platform for them to trade it on. So
Yeah, 100%. I guess I'm curious about like the process. Was it the same as adding runes, or was there a different process you kind of had to go through to actually get it listed or actually start using the ID club?
Yeah. Oh, by the way, for your previous question, it was, I know it's a very like cryptic answer, but that's just where I stand. That's like I have no clear
I get it.
opinion on the
Yeah.
protocol.
Can't pick a winner.
Yeah. With regards to the integration process itself, I think it was very similar to kind of working with Magic Eden or like Unisat. So it didn't take us very long. I think we sat on it for the first week, and then we were done with it like a week after. And then we just wanted marketing and other partners to align and test it. And we wanted to push it out as a part of the bigger release. And the bigger release was with the sort of Amber side panel, new search bar, all of that. So we kind of delayed it out, tested it a little bit more. But actually just adding the trading was a couple of days, very similar to runes.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay, it makes sense. So right now you have runes, you have Alkanes. Is there anything else you're working on that maybe you can slip any alpha? Anything you guys working on next about adding to the site?
Yes, we are.
Yeah.
We're always working on something.
Yeah.
We're always working on something. What is that question?
Yeah, I mean, can you say anything about the next thing? Or
no, we're all
okay.
Yeah, go ahead, Sam.
Stan, have we talked about hedge on here before?
No.
We could talk about hedge. That's been pretty good. That we got approved.
Hedge.
Okay, I talk about hedge.
You talk
Sure.
about hedge. I add. Okay.
Okay, yeah, sure. So basically, again, our goal being make Bitcoin as easy to use as possible. If someone tries to buy Bitcoin right now, they have to jump through 100 loops. So you want to go to Coinbase or Kraken or any of these big exchanges. A couple of days at minimum, right? Because you got to go through KYC, get approved, then connect your bank account, do an ACH transfer, then go and buy Bitcoin. And we're like, well, maybe we can make this easier. And Stan just dropped a link to Hedge on the App Store. This is the very first version. It's also the worst version that we'll ever have of this app. We have a new version coming out soon. It's basically your strategic reserve. We make it extremely simple to buy Bitcoin, to buy and hold Bitcoin in self-custody. It's also much cheaper than buying it on Kraken or Coinbase because there is like, we don't take a spread, plus we do your trade on chain. And if you don't need KYC up to $500 a week even more if you have Zelle, like $2,000 a day if you have a Zelle account, and it's like near instant Bitcoin purchases at like market price and completely self-custodied. Down the line, you'll be able to borrow against your Bitcoin with the apps as well, bridge it, whatever. So yeah.
Yeah, are families in the future going to be like, I have a Bitcoin strategic reserve for my family? They're probably not going to tell everybody in the public because they don't want people to know, but maybe they do it like privately because, hey, you're going to feel stupid if you don't have one eventually, like how these countries are.
Yeah, I mean, like Bitcoin inheritance planning is such a big market because like everybody's buying Bitcoin for their kids and then they want to know how to pass it over. So I think it'll be a big thing that might actually be real. Family reserve.
Yeah. So real quick though, for someone like me who buys Bitcoin on Cash App, I can potentially buy it through Hedge, probably a lot cheaper, correct? Yes. And I can withdraw that to, let's just say, an Express wallet to buy runes.
Yeah, easy.
Yep, exactly. Yeah.
Wow.
It's like gonna be, and it's gonna be the same experience as Cash App. Like you linked your bank account once and never have to do it again, or you can use Apple Pay. And it's gonna be cheaper than Cash App. Plus, it's like fully self-custody. I don't know if Cash App. I'm not looked into Cash App's custody yet, but I assume it's not. I think they use Lightning and probably not self-custody. Yeah. So this is like completely decentralized. Yeah.
Wow.
I don't think us as a space has really realized like the change of onboarding opportunities since the current administration has been pro crypto. Because if you remember last cycle, like Apple would never even consider being allowing people to add Apple Pay, and Google, same thing with Google Pay. So this could be a huge opportunity of liquidity rushing in once like retail feels comfortable to come back, right? Do you guys see that similarly to the way I just said it?
Yeah, 100%. Bitcoin is 100. You wanna say something? I see you wanna say something. Go ahead.
Yeah, because this like directly correlates to like people, like the age bracket and the audience that I would fall into if I was not like a Bitcoin developer, like college students that are my age that like have heard a lot about Bitcoin, but like don't know how the fuck do they purchase Bitcoin, right? So it's like for them, if you told them to go through like all of these hoops, they basically don't want to do it because it's like difficult and it takes time and they like ADHD and they forget. So we were like you said, Yagobi, if we can make the onboarding as seamless as possible, that'll just open the door to like a new generation of Bitcoin holders, basically, that we can onboard.
And it'll be normalized to them, you know? And so that'll be a part of their day-to-day kind of like routine and stuff. So exciting. So Stan, what were you gonna say initially?
That's pretty much what I wanted also to comment on. That like we are trying to onboard like the new generation to Bitcoin, and we are focusing on the distribution channels around that. And I think we have a pretty good chance to do that because even like just today in the morning, I saw some of the stats. I think something like 35 or 37% of Americans, they have gold. But 40 plus already have Bitcoin. So more households have Bitcoin than gold in America. So it's already happening. It's here. And I think that, Rishabh just sent in the chat, Texas House officially passed a strategic Bitcoin reserve bill. And it's happening. I think New Hampshire was first, now Texas. So we're already here. And I think there will be more and more consumer apps, Bitcoin consumer apps in the next couple of months.
Yeah. Adoption is here, guys. I mean, Bitcoin is not waiting for any of us at this point. Bitcoin is becoming a global asset that can never be taken away. It's here forever, and we're on the forefront of something special, especially you guys building on Bitcoin. So.
I'm curious as your opinion. This is my last question. I know we've had you guys up here for a while, but the argument with some of these I want to call them legacy Bitcoiners, but like they're still hanging on to the micropayment thing, right? Bitcoin as money and micropayments. I'm obviously in the camp of the chain data and also save towards store of value, right? How do you see it playing out like in the future? Let's start with you, Stan, and then we can kind of go around as the last question here.
Playing out in the future. What do you mean?
Is it going to be more as kind of like what the hedge app is, like, you know, saving a store of value, or do you think Bitcoin will be more of day-to-day trend? I'm going to use my Bitcoin to buy pizza. I'm going to use my Bitcoin to buy coffee.
No, I don't think that will ever happen. No, I think that for most of the people, Bitcoin is something you want to buy, put it in your like cold wallet. Like 50% of people, 100%, they buy Bitcoin, put it in their ledger, put ledger in the safe, put the paper from that ledger into whatever other safe, and that's it. They just keep it. Then they will be old, they will be dying, they will gather their kids and say, hey kids, this is my ledger, this is the 12 words. Now you can sell a little bit of Bitcoin, buy yourself houses, pay for your college and stuff like that. I think it would be store of value. But for the payments, most of the like small payments right now, they're like pretty much done by like stablecoin transactions. Like in most of the places where I've been, because I'm originally from Ukraine, where we have one of the highest crypto adoptions in the world. You can pay with Bitcoin, but most of the transactions are still done in USDT. And for people, it's easier to, at least for this generation, maybe for next generation too, it's easier to think about money as US dollar. But maybe in 2 generations, people will think about money as Bitcoin, because they would what is dollar, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Rishabh wanted to add something. I saw you wanted to add something.
Yeah, I just wanted to raise an objection to the idea of the kids selling the Bitcoin. I don't think that would happen. The way I see it is like, yes, everybody holds Bitcoin. I think as much as we want it to be micropayments, because that would be great and like replace US dollar, which I think most of the Bitcoin core devs still think should be the function of Bitcoin. I don't know that'll happen, because a lot of these sort of value use cases are becoming mostly dominant, right? So I think next thing that happens is you give your kid Bitcoin, like Stan was saying, and then I feel like they borrow against it. So they use Bitcoin as collateral, take a loan against that Bitcoin, buy a house with that money, and then they essentially pay off the loan with time.
Yeah.
So it just functions as a great store of value in that way, and you just have like a new generation of people using it to like borrow against it rather than sell it.
Yeah, like smart money, basically, like how people utilize their real estate now and stuff.
Yeah, but what about like I'm in Web3, I get paid in crypto, right? What about somebody who gets paid in crypto? I want to pay my bills in Bitcoin, right? I want to get paid in Bitcoin. I want to pay my bills in Bitcoin. I want to buy pizza with Bitcoin. I don't want to ever have to leave Bitcoin for anything. What about that guy?
I don't see a lot of those guys.
I'm like, that guy.
Well, no, like
you see me every day.
But that's not true. Like, you know, we don't have to get into like the personals here, but like it's not true. And like I think most people would actually prefer, and they actually ask for like a stable token payment, because you know it's going to be like every month that's what you're paying. Well, I mean, I don't want to get to the personal thing again, but I don't want to have to prove you wrong. But my point that I'm making here is that like I can see what you're saying in a sense, but
well, for me, I send my Bitcoin to Cash App when I need to cash out, right? I can't send stablecoin to Cash App. I have to always be in Bitcoin. So when I use XC,
that's a
usually
problem.
to
that's
send
a
my
problem with using Cash App.
I know,
like,
but that's what I'm saying.
Many
like
different things.
That's what I'm saying. I'd rather just use Bitcoin. I'd rather just get paid.
I think there's one person in the world, and it's just you. That's like
not true. There's millions. There's millions of people.
I think there's quite a few.
Just like me, who act like me.
I think there's room for that for sure, 100%. But I don't think it's a like I don't like. There's no way the whole world could go on Bitcoin.
No, but I just want it to be an option. Yeah.
Well, it is an option right now.
Yeah, it's like a local option, like when you have like a local currency.
Yeah. Okay, so one thing I wanted to comment to with Rashab is I think Bitcoin Core devs that are active right now, their mentality is actually kind of shifting a little bit away from that like micropayment thing. They're actually seeing whether this is minor influenced or not. I think they're starting to see the opportunity of data storage using Bitcoin's full functionality. But I do know that some of those core devs, or used to be a part of the core devs, and the legacy people like the Samson Mows and the people that like to be on TV and stuff like that, they are Jack Dorsey. They believe that it's either micropayments or it dies, which is completely opposite of what's happened. You know what I mean? Like, it hasn't been used for micropayments and it's thrived. It's actually grown. And I think like more than anything, like the on-chain activity that we've seen and proven from 2023 even up till now with ordinals is it's actually growing as like used for on-chain economy probably more than the outside world, but maybe I'm viewing it incorrectly.
I mean, like, so I was at Bitcoin Plus Plus recently, and I was talking to a bunch of these core developers, and there's definitely like a split. Couple of them. That's why it's like Bitcoin Core and Bitcoin Nuts, right? And then the Bitcoin Nuts guys are like very clear that this should not be a store of value. Ordinals is a bug. Runes is a bug. All of this needs to go away. The only utility for Bitcoin is micro payments and like it as a transaction settlement layer. Anything else means Bitcoin failed. Right? Those are like the nuts. And then the core guys are like, they're more open-minded. They're like, look, clearly not that many people are transacting. So if there is something else that leads to like opt return for that matter, which leads to literally people paying twice as much to store data on chain. If miners are making money, might as well, right? At least it fills up the blocks because we have like a very empty very empty mempool right now. So that was like definitely a split where like the Knots guys were like, if it's being used for anything else, it just means Bitcoin was a failed experiment. Right. So like, I don't know if I agree with that at all.
Yeah.
And and on that note also, like Satoshi did say that in 10 years, either every Bitcoin will have millions of transactions or it'll have zero. So
yeah, but millions of transactions could be on-chain economy too, though. You know what I mean? And so that doesn't mean that you're not having millions of transactions. But look, we found a Bitcoin Knots guy. Sam says, what in the shitcoin is a rune? No, but I want to give Cyclops the final say here. So, you know, any opinion on that kind of conversation, philosophical conversation we just had?
I think, like, personally, like, people will trade value with the most convenient thing that they have on hand. I don't know if it's, I think it's naive to believe that any one thing is going to be the currency of choice. And I think if that is the case, that's almost terrifying. Whether it's Bitcoin or whether it's anything, whether it's gold or anything, I think people transfer value in the ways that they can. So it could be trading, it could be using X crypto, X not. I think what you want is just to be able to have access to all of it and not censor that to anyone. So like for Bitcoin, like it just like, I don't see it as like a worldwide adoption currency. Like it's just like maybe on an L2 level, but then is that even really Bitcoin? Like, you know, like that's what I'm referring to. So
yeah,
you know, so it's like, it's people are going to use things to do things faster, and like that will happen. And like I do think being able to put data on chain is also an amazing form of holding value. It's like paper, you know, like you can put money on it and you can, you know, draw on it. You know, there's a lot of things that kind of go with that. And so I think it's just accepting the value of all of that and letting it happen, because if you try to force that, that's when you kind of have tyranny. That's like, personally, I love Bitcoin and I like crypto, but you know, like there's a use case for the banking system. It's just like, when it's like one has to die, it's like, I don't fully get that in my personal philosophy.
Yeah, we're about to see with the stablecoin bill, we're about to see the Disney dollar, right? We're going to see the Amazon dollar. We're going to see a lot of different ways of different stable coins that are just all over the place. But yeah, I just think everyone should, you know, pay in the currency they want to pay in. You want to pay in yen, you want to pay in dollars, you want to pay in Bitcoin. I'd love to pay in Bitcoin. So
Gotcha. Awesome. Yeah, and a great question here. Malam Yuri says, what about Bitcoin backed stables? I think we're going to see that. I think there's probably stuff already in the works there, but I want to thank.
Real quick.
Oh, go ahead.
So Kraken just posted this. This is the Kraken.
Man, they're
official
teasing
for runes. So I'm curious, guys. You guys know a place where I can buy some dog today? Is there a place that you guys use to buy dog?
I use a place called app.satsterminal.com. It's probably the best place to buy runes and other Bitcoin assets in the world. Satsterminal.com.
This raccoon, just listen to a raccoon out there.
Ricky, right? Ricky the raccoon.
Yeah, Shizzy, if you hover your mouse over the referral link, you'll see the raccoon. He's hidden there.
Over the
So
referral
is
you
it?
connect your
Yeah,
wallet.
you
Yeah,
click
but you
on
got to
the
connect
Okay.
your wallet.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't want to connect my wallet. I
We're
want to see
watching.
the points I got. I got a lot of points.
We're watching. What are the last digits
I've
of
been
that?
grinding, guys. I've been grinding. I can do it though.
He
Nice.
wants it. The guy, he's gonna connect it and show Ricky the raccoon. Watch. By the way, is the unofficial or the official mascot?
Official, of course.
Okay.
He's working with us. He's
on the
our
team.
lead developer.
Although I do want to get edgy again. I like the one where you guys freaked out.
Ah.
Did you watch that? That was hilarious. I was like, no, but it was we just needed a market. Was it
NSFV, yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
Not safe for work.
No, it wasn't
All
that
right. So
bad.
what am I doing now? I go to rewards.
Hover over it. Just hover over it. No. Right?
Oh, there he is.
Oh, there he is.
Let's go.
And then
Ricky.
your referrals right at the bottom there.
Yeah.
Copy that. All right.
Yeah.
I'll put
Yeah,
that actually.
he's
put it in
hidden
the
back
comments,
there. Yeah.
See if I can get any points from you guys.
We're gonna start a new wallet.
He's gonna put it in the chat.
I don't want to show my other wallet, guys, because I've been
Dude,
grinding it.
that is affiliate marketing 101 by Shizzy just there. He's about to get like
I don't know what you're
a
talking
million points. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, look, guys, it's been an amazing segment. We're excited for what the Sats terminal is going to be continually adding to the platform and product suite with Hedge and all that great stuff. And you guys are going to be in Vegas too, so I think like if there are any builders or any community members out there that you guys said cool to connect with and all that stuff at the events, right? So any last words or anything, Stan, before we let you guys go?
Yeah. I hope that Kraken lists DOGE. I hope that Kraken integrates Sats terminal, and I hope that Kraken users will enjoy best prices and best execution in the space through our integration.
Awesome. You guys heard that, Kraken. Get to it. Let's get that integration going. But thank you guys so much, and we will talk to you guys next Wednesday.
Thank you. See ya. Bye-bye.
Bye, guys.
Thank you,
Absolutely
guys.
Amazing, guys. Thank you.
Bye.
All right, man. That's the show today. 2 hours and 30 minutes in here, guys. Bitcoin sitting at a new all-time high of 109,700. It has dropped it a little bit down to 107 right now, but we hit it, guys. We're officially out of the old all-time high from January and into a new all-time high. I'm still expecting 115, 130 in the next days. I'm excited, guys. Get excited. 207 of you guys in here on YouTube and X, not to mention everyone on Abstract, Rumble, Twitch, and Spotify later.
Yep, guys. What a great day it has been for sure, and appreciate every single one of you guys. Y'all allow us to do this by supporting us, and the other half of that is our partners. So if you could check them out, we greatly appreciate it. Sats Terminal, we just went over them in depth with the team, but they are a DEX aggregator for the Bitcoin ecosystem, primarily focusing on runes and now Alkanes as well. So if you're interested in trading Alkanes, you can do so there. It's going to be the best UI, sleek, and also the most liquid and best pricing there. You can also earn the Amber points that we just went over, and that is going to go towards something great in the future. That's the alpha I can give you about that. But yeah, make sure you're following these guys' X account. Make sure you're taking advantage of earning the Amber, the referral link, all that great stuff there. You can head over to satsterminal.com to swap for runes or just dive in to learn about what these guys are bringing to the Bitcoin ecosystem. And then we have BetBTC, which is the predictions marketplace of the Bitcoin ecosystem. All you need is a Bitcoin supported wallet and some Bitcoin and 6 Bitcoin blocks, and you can start trading right away, or placing bets, I should say. You can place bets in their blitz markets, which is a 10-minute blitz market is what it is. You can actually pick Bitcoin, Solana, or BNB to go up or down. You get 10 minutes to lock in the price that you want to go up or down from, and then an additional 10 minutes to determine if you were correct or wrong. And so it's a really quick, fun little market there, but be responsible. It is kind of like the perps side of things. Also, there's other predictions markets in there that you can get involved with as well. And in the future, you're going to be able to create your own markets, which I'm most excited about. You can earn up to 1.5% of the total volume on the markets that you create. Go over to betbtc.win and you can check them out and see what they have to offer. right? And so we're going to be putting out a members only video because we're going to ask a couple of our members if they want to be a part of a new feature kind of testing environment with these guys. They're doing a lot, so stay tuned to that. And then Emblem Vault is the interoperability tooling for the Bitcoin ecosystem. You're going to be able to jump your ordinals from Bitcoin layer 1 to Abstract to Merlin, Bitcoin layer 2 to Base, and eventually Solana. And you're going to be able to do that eventually with their agent AI Hustle, which is really popular within the AI agent community, as he can help you vault your ordinals once that Bitcoin tech stack's added to them. But right now you can utilize them to trade on Solana, you know, kind of use them as a research tool to help you figure out, like, you know, if the token's safe, if there's you know, a lot of people dumping it, or what's the insights basically. And then also, you know, help you try to find some more risky but early type of tokens. A lot of people have had success with it. So right now it's actually free to use, so you can, you know, check it out. Also, don't forget they have a Rune TGE in September, which, you know, right now you can actually participate in a pre-sale environment on OpenSea as an ERC 721. Once they get close to the TGE in September, they'll give you instructions on how to get those runes into your Bitcoin wallet. Head over to emblem.vision to dive into Agent Hustle and their vaulting product as well. And then Artura Finance is a perps and leverage DEX of the Bitcoin ecosystem. These guys are really ready to get going. They're going to be launching on Hemi Bitcoin Layer 2 as well as Botonics, and Hemi is actually backed by Binance Labs. There's going to be some really cool promotional stuff with Botonics whenever they launch, but you're going to be able to trade stuff like Dog to the Moon. That's going to be a good one now. You know that, you know, a lot of people are going to be interested in that. Synthetically on their platform, as well as possibly stuff like Billy, you know, Pups, and maybe Ordi and Sats, and maybe some Alkanes if they get popular enough. They did say they are open to that as well. But you're going to be able to trade more of the traditional assets as well, like Tau, XRP, Ethereum. But if you're not into trading and you just want to get involved with the platform, you can add liquidity and earn off of adding to a liquidity vault there. Head over to artura.finance and you can dig into what this platform's about and how you can get connected with their community. And then Fluid Tokens, these guys started off on Cardano. They are UTXO wizard devs, and they have made big waves over here in the Bitcoin ecosystem. They were the first to offer retail staking vaults to the public here. They started off with a Dog to the Moon staking vault, a perfect one. And then they have their second staking vault with Dog, which unlocks in perfect timing with the Bitcoin conference in Vegas this year. So unlocks in about, what does it say, 5 days? Wow. So that's right around the corner here. And then also, if you have an ordinal collection or you etch the rune and you have an established community, it can be a small community, but it does need to be established. You can reach out to the Fluid team by heading over to their Discord, ask them how to get a staking vault started for your community, and they will help you out. They also have a airdrop tool right now. So if you are maybe like an ordinal collection founder and you etch the rune to reward your holders, you can utilize their airdrop tool. It's really easy. You know, you just got to go over there, pick what rune, and you can add your custom rune in there as well. You can add a little spreadsheet too if you have a long list of recipients of the airdrop, and it's cheap. We tested it out. It's really seamless and really quick. So make sure you're checking these guys out at fluidtokens.com. And then Tokyo Wallet has just come onto the scene not long ago, about 3-4 weeks ago into the Bitcoin ecosystem. We just completed the Bitcoin Blitz to educate the community and them as well by bringing builders together. But the Tokyo Wallet is a smart multi-chain wallet. So it works with the Cardano blockchain as well as the Bitcoin blockchain. And you can actually swap for runes there as well, as they partnered with Sats Terminal. So Sats Terminal is everywhere. They are the main aggregator, and I wouldn't be shocked if you see them on Kraken as well. But Tokyo is, you know, they're going to also be expanding very, very soon to the SUI ecosystem. They are multi-chain. They're all about UI and UX. So if you try this out, you know, download it on the Apple App Store if you have an iPhone, or the Google Play Store if you have an Android. Give us some feedback, guys, and we'll let the team know. But exciting times for that team. They will also be in Vegas. You can go to Tokyo.io to really figure out what they got to offer as a wallet. And then Merlin Chain is uniting Bitcoin strength with the power of AI. big news for these guys, man. I feel like they have a new headline almost every week, right? Like wrapped Bitcoin DAO, and then they also have the Binance post recently,
Alpha.
the Say integration, and then I think wasn't there another one today or yesterday? Maybe I got one of those mixed up, but
yeah,
okay.
DApp. But yeah, there's a new DApp that they integrated using MBTC. So
gotcha. And then they have their Wizard AI 0.3 version 0.3. So that really guides you through the Merlin ecosystem, and eventually, can probably get into more conditional transactions like trading and stuff like that. Right now, you can swap and stake and stuff like that. But speaking of staking, if you want to help secure the chain, you can head over to merlinchain.io and click stake. And you can add your Merlin chain tokens to the staking vault here and add 15% APR. And so a really good deal there to help kind of secure the chain there. And so head over to merlinchain.io and you can dive into what is happening on Merlin Chain and updates for what they're going to be involved with. Exciting times for that team. And lastly, don't forget about our integrated partners, Jungle, which was formerly Foxy AI. They have the first-person shooter game called Cypher Striker, which we will be most likely. It's not for sure. We will get confirmation, but hopefully this next Tuesday, 3 p.m. Eastern, everybody's invited. All you need is a Bitcoin-supported wallet, and you can join one of the clans, and then we go to town for about 45 minutes, trying to kill each other as much as possible. And so it's a fun time. They're also building the metaverse on Bitcoin called the Bitverse, and they have expanded their ecosystem, and they have included Bitcoin Derby into their ecosystem as well. So exciting times for that team. And then Ordinal Hive, Fonzie and the team over there are crushing it. They are an aggregator of ordinals, and so the best prices that you're going to find is going to be on Ordinal Hive for ordinal collections. And they have a whole suite of trader tools. So make sure you check that out as well. And thank you guys so much for hanging out with us on this beautiful day where Bitcoin continues to thrive and hit some new milestones. So thank you guys so much.
Yep. And if you guys want to go and check out OnChainRevolution.io, it would be much appreciated. We have some of the best article, guys. If you want to learn about what Alkanes is and everything about Alkanes, we have a brand new article that just popped off, guys. Absolutely amazing. Check it out here. And so many other articles as well. Check out all of our articles here. And if you guys are interested in getting a VPN, we have the number one VPN that I use. That is NordVPN. I highly recommend that one. I have it on multiple devices. I actually have over 10 devices because I had to get a second account after the first 5. But it's super cheap. It's like $3 a month. I think I paid $66 for 2 years. Locked it in, forget about it, and just have it, right? So definitely check that out if you're interested in a VPN. And just don't be going to these sites, guys, especially for airdrop hunting like I do. Don't be going to the sites and giving your IP address. It's dangerous. You give them your address. And right now, what we're seeing with stuff happening in France over last weekend with some founders kid, you don't want that. I don't want that. Just have a VPN on. Be safe. Better safe than sorry. And if you guys are going to Bitcoin 2025 Las Vegas, guys, it's going to be fun. It's going to be exciting. Get your tickets through us. Make sure you're buying them through us, guys. It'll really help the show and actually give you a discount as well. And if you guys need merch for upcoming events, it's kind of too late now for the Las Vegas event because I don't think it's going to get to you on time. But if you're looking for the next event or stuff like that, we have some of the best shirts, hats, jackets, everything out there. Check it all out here at onchainrevolution.io. And guys, we are live Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Central, 8 a.m. Pacific, and 3 p.m. UTC. Check us out all week, guys. Until tomorrow.
Peace.
OnChain Revolution roll call. Market recap. You not bullish enough. No. You're not bullish enough. No. Look at the price go. Bitcoin control. Why you still coping? Price action rolling. Don't fall for bear trap. Swapping indexes and putting it up in the sex. I can take profit right now. OnChain is where I be now. You can never look back. They don't want you to know. How did the market react? Fear and greed gotta adapt. Now we bridging the tokens and marching the network right now. You know how crazy we are. Nookies are savages now. They know how crazy we are. Chain abstraction, main attraction. OnChain Revolution.